Okay, folks, here we are down in the pits with the suck-it-up man himself. It is the 19C of Malcolm Ngatai, and of course, I always come to you first because I know you know how to talk for a start. Number two, you love talking about yourself, so we might as well do that while we're here, eh?
There's no point talking about you, Jace.
Oh, thanks, mate. Alrighty, so of course, Canterbury Champs for you. You've got two lots of Canterbury Champs coming up for yourself this weekend and next weekend with the Superstock, South Island Superstocks coming up for you as well. So I suppose this first in, just see what this does.
Yeah, no, we've been ticking around, but we had a few problems the last couple of meetings, and we were lucky enough to Shiny Crow to jump on board and have a look for us. So hope tonight we're back on pace and spinning some laps.
Okay, so what's been wrong with the car? What's happened to it?
Oh, we just had a whole lot of binding and stuff in it, and yeah, so struggling with getting out of the corners and stuff. We were sort of going backwards near the end of the night, so hopefully we don't have that problem anymore.
Okay, you got probably, 16, 18 pretty good super saloons here, and you get the super stock around this track. Are you coming to terms with the super saloon? You've only been in a couple of seasons now.
Yeah, you just hit them out the way, don't you?
Wrong, that's the wrong class. So this one's the way you don't hit tonight.
Yeah, no, we in the last year we were doing some fast, good laps, not rubbing any panels, and we're good enough to do that, and we just hope the other drivers can do the same, because normally when I get hit, I react and I get told off for it. So as long as everyone's playing the same game, I'll be definitely rubbing no panels tonight.
Absolutely. Malcolm, you've got good sponsors on the car too. Who looks after you, mate?
Oh, suck it up, of course. We've got Brian the FM. Brian FM's a new one, and also Challenge YMAC. They're quite new to us as well. They're a couple of the big new sponsors, as well as got Elite Wheels and quite a few others. Obviously, Suck It Up, and we do have plenty of sponsors, and I don't want to offend too many, but they're the ones that tip in the most money. So
good stuff. Well, Malcolm, best of luck, mate, and hope to see you on the podium tonight, eh?
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Okay, that's how we look at this car, actually, of Malcolm's. This one here is what they call a gorge chassis. So for our American viewers that aren't familiar with super saloons, these are basically just a late model, but not quite the same amount of big engines in them. These guys are pretty much underneath the bonnet of this thing here is a 430 cubic inch V8 engine. It's running methanol. They have an injection system on them. They go into just your standard, good racing gearbox in them. And of course, they've got the quick change diff in there as well. And the quick change, obviously, they can set up all the gear ratios for the different tracks they race in. So these things around this track here, we're probably looking at the late 14s, early 15 seconds around a quarter-mile track with not much banking and stuff. They're pretty much the first cylinder has got to be in line with something to do with the chassis. I can't remember. Somebody will explain it all shortly for us, I'm sure. But basically, yeah, they are pretty unique. We race two types of these classes here in New Zealand. This is super saloons. You also get what they call a saloon car, and those guys are actually they're governed or limited to 360 cubic inches. These boys are a bit bigger, and of course they can't run injection. They've got to have a carburetor, and also they run on just normal avgas or pump gas. So these are a little bit unique. There is the odd super saloon that does run on avgas. There's 492 Campbell McManaway from Nelson. He runs on avgas, and there's a couple of others that are running on methanol, but carbureted, I should say, not injected. So very interesting wee cars, a lot of horsepower. They poke out around about the 650 to 700 horsepower. Some of the bigger boys maybe a wee bit more on that, but some of them can get right up there. So Malcolm's more renowned for a super stock drive. We'll explain that a little bit later on as well. So interesting to see how he goes. So this is a gorge chassis. So Murray Gorge hasn't built a lot of super saloons, but there is a car over here, 34T Ray Stewart, which is a Hypermac chassis. Just before Chris Cowling ducks into his driver's briefing, of course, Chris, 27M, X1NZ, X2NZ, and just about everything you've driven. So why the big push to come down here and compete at the Canterbury Champs?
Well, we made a car for Josh in the off season, so we'd come down to help him tonight, and then things kind of evolved into me driving tonight. So just thought I'd take up the opportunity while we're here. It's a cool place. So
He's got one of the Pro X2s, has he?
Yes, he does. So he's had a couple of meetings in it, but just trying to get a handle on it. So hopefully we can help him out, get it set up pretty good for him, and then he'll be away after this.
How was your last outing here, Chris?
Oh, good and bad.
More bad?
Yeah, more bad than good, but it ended up good, so that was the main thing.
Well, you did a lot of passing and stuff like that to get through as well. And, of course, it's a good opportunity, too, for you to come out and have a bit of a hit out as well. Done much racing so far this season?
A little bit. We've had, I think we've had 3 meetings at home. They've been pretty heavy tracks, so it's been pretty fast up there. A couple of the boys at home, they've been really good. So done one away meeting at Kiki, but yeah, nothing too much. But yeah, kind of getting itchy feet each weekend, so it's good to kind of curb the thing with that.
The old COVID, those put a bit of a damper on a lot of people's seasons, hasn't it? And have you yourselves, have you decided to have a sort of a laid-back type of weekend, or you're looking to maybe, do as much as you can while you can?
Yeah, I think with COVID and things like that, I mean, work for us has been really busy, so we're trying to stay pretty local. So, yeah, we're not doing too much travelling this year, which is nice. It's kind of easy just to go 5 minutes down the road, then spend the whole weekend away. But, yeah, I think by the end of the season, we'll be wanting to travel again, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I know you can't really say your sponsors tonight. You do have some good ones, and we'll go over and we'll talk to Josh at some stage and ask him. But just a wee couple of sneaky ones. Who looks after you, mate?
Yeah, obviously there's a fair few at home look after us. Also the Pro X2 chassis. But look, I just want to say a big thank you to the Josh and his family for letting me have the opportunity to race tonight. So yeah, with all of his backing and stuff like that, it's been pretty cool.
He told me, this is not a story, this is true facts. He told me that the only reason he's got you down in this car is because he's sick of you hitting him all the time. So he thought that the only way that he could go a meeting without damaging his car was if you drove it for him. How true is that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he's getting confused with Ricky or something.
Let's not go there, eh? All right, mate. Well, best of luck. And thanks for coming down, make it a bit more fun. Just while we've got opportunity, we just spoke to Malcolm Nartai. And for those people that are out in the crowd here, look at Megan running away. She says, tell them about our shirts. Now, of course, that's going to blow around like a bitch at the moment. But you can see here they've got some really good merchandise. These are brand spanking new Malcolm Nartai shirts. They just, I think they arrived yesterday. She was telling me yesterday. So if you want a shirt, come down to the bus after the meeting. And T-shirts are just $20. And they've got kids sizes right up to adults. They've even got one that'll fit me, Paul. So that's quite a good thing. So look at that shirt there. It's the brand new. So come down and see Malcolm or Megan, and they'll be more than happy to set you up with some of their T-shirts. So let's have a bit of a walk around here. Again, this is 88 Dave Manera. He's from Nelson, actually. So he's sponsored by the Lone Star guys. So Dave's, he has a mixed bag of lollies when he comes to Woodford Glen as well. So be interesting to see how he copes with that. I'm not sure what his chassis is. What's that chassis? It's a Hypermax, so it must be an older one, is it? Or a newer one? Yep, so it's an older Hypermax. So Shane McIntyre, who's based out of Blenheim, actually, he has the Hypermax deal, and a lot of the cars that are here are actually Hypermax. The Pro X's are just starting to sort of make a bit of a coming together. Of course, this is another Hypermax, Ray Stewart, 34T. We'll see him in action. Very, very fast Ray. He's been around 100 years, but by George, can he get this thing boogieing? There's no two ways about that. So we'll just rush over here and talk to Josh while we've got the chance to. So Josh Bolton's got this brand spanking new 891, this Pro X2. He was dreading this, I'm sure, but yeah, we just talked to Chris and he said, you're lying. It's not him that bangs into you, it's Ricky. So how does that sound?
Probably both.
So because you've had the car, you've had a couple of outings, want to sort of get it dialed in, is that the case?
Yeah, just it's a Pro X, so they know what they're doing, and what better to have them come down and tell me I put it together right.
Okay, so you bought this car. You say you put it together. Do you do all the finishing on it? You just get the chassis from them and you do all the rest of it?
Yeah, it come as a chassis kit with the internal paneling and stuff done, and we fit out the rest of the car. So I enjoy doing it probably more than driving them.
Oh, yes, but they're always a work of art when you do them, though, isn't it? So tell me, you've gone back. Oh no, you got Watkins race engines now, so you're not going back to the States for your engines anymore?
Darren freshens them up for me, so they're still a Klein engine, but they've got to be fresh in here. It's just easier than sending them all the way back over. So
yeah, you're going to get to race a couple of months a year with the bugs flying around, that's for sure. But so, and you're happy with the way the car is and the way it sort of goes for you, or is that why they're here? You just want to try and get a bit more out of it?
Well, you're always trying to get more, but no, I'm really happy with it. We were in Nelson a couple of weeks ago, and our lap times were real good. I was pretty rusty. Things on this one are a little bit opposite to what I'm used to for the last 20-odd years, so not being the quickest takes a wee while for my brain to turn around and work it out the other way. So.
Oh, well, it's obviously a nice wee beast of a machine, though. And he didn't want to thank any sponsors. He's going to leave that up to you. So who looks after you on the car, Josh?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Your wallet?
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Well, there you go. Oh, well, let's hope it gets all dialed in for you. And you're heading off to Waikareka Park for the New Zealands this year?
I'll say yes. I've booked and paid to go and all the rest of it, but I don't know, the format just looks a bit...
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Oh, well, thanks for talking to us, Josh, and congratulations on the new car, and hopefully that turns out to be pretty good for him. So, oh, look at that. There's a promoter from Woodford Glen Speedway just while he's walking past. And Steve Lennon here, of course. He is, of course, the Koken Tools promoter, and just while you're walking past, you're just wrong time, mate. Yeah. So, obviously, yeah, good event you got going on here. Mainland Stockcar Teams, good field of Super Saloons, good field of Streeties. Looks like you were up for a good night of racing. Hopefully, no rain.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully no rain. I think everyone around the country in Speedway world's hoping for no rain. We've had our fair share already. But yeah, no, really cool event tonight. Like you say, good field of supers. Probably down a couple, but Canterbury Champs is always hotly contested in that class, and it should be real good. Great to see Chris Cowling come down here, and he's driving the Josh Bolton car, so that'll be a thrill. Format for them is 3 15-lap heats tonight instead of the one race final. Like, it's obviously everyone's going to the one race final thing, but we've just changed it up a little bit here, give our guys a chance to try that SNZ 3-heat format, because that's what it is for the New Zealand Champs at Wakaraka Park. Yeah, so that gives them an opportunity. And yeah, four really good teams here. Obviously, we've got the Canterbury Crushers, the defending champions. Barbarians side that's mainly filled with Christchurch cars. We wanted to try and get 4 teams going. Unfortunately, we lost a team that was planning on coming down, so we made that up to keep the 4-team format. Obviously, the Otago Outlaws, I was going to call them Cougars, but they're not that anymore. Great that they've thrown a team together, and a pretty decent team too, a lot of experience. And of course, our good old friends from the coast, the Greymouth Grizzlies.
It'll be interesting, actually. It'll be interesting to see how those Otago guys blend together, because I've never actually done a teams race together before. Raced each other every Saturday night, but actually racing as a team and thinking as a team, not always the easiest. You'd have to sort of favour perhaps the Canterbury guys?
Yeah, ordinarily you would, but they, respectfully, they are missing a couple of their usual drivers. Harley Robb's new car's not ready, so he hasn't made the team this year. But equally, yeah, they are a good team. Colin Cameron, massive amount of experience. He's a real fast car. We've got young Wade Sweeting coming through the ranks. This is his second teams race ever, so a lot of pace there, but definitely probably just lacking on a bit of experience. But with a captain like Colin, I think they'll go good. Yeah.
Now, of course, you've had a bit of a tough start to the season with the rain as well, but you did get your fireworks meeting done eventually. But you've got some ripper meetings coming up here at Koken Tools Woodford Glen Speedway. So obviously we can't be here, but Garage 16 Media, I'm sure, going to look after you. It is the modified title, so tell us a bit about what's coming up.
Yeah, the next show is just next week on the 5th of December. It's the South Island Superstock Championship. At this stage, early indications are of a field around about 20 to 22 cars. That is dependent on waiting to hear confirmation from 3 cars from the North Island. We have got 15. Paul Maybe coming down actually from Rotorua. He's keen on just doing the circuit and trying to get in as many South Island tracks. He did the South Island Champs in Nelson last year, so he gave us a call and he's swinging down, so that's really neat. Looking forward to meeting him. And yeah, obviously the Garage 16 Canterbury Modified Champs as well. We've got some visitors from the North Island. I can't name them all just yet, but I can say one NZ.
It's been teasing. You've been teasing me about that all bloody day, haven't you?
Yeah. Now I can say we've got one NZ Brad Lane coming, which is massive. Like, obviously the Lane family, massive supporters of our club, so we really appreciate them coming down. And Jonas England's also confirmed at this stage, and there's one more I can't say anything yet, but we're going to probably have close to 20 modifieds for our Canterbury Modified Champs, so make sure you're here to watch it, because it's not going to be live streamed.
Yes. You rub it in, mate. And of course, maybe another 10 or 20 cars for the New Zealand title coming up a little bit later on in the season as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously our numbers in Christchurch are really strong at the moment. We've got some drivers coming back that have had a couple, 3 years off, and we've got a whole pile of new guys coming through too. We've got a couple of youngsters. They're only like 17 or 18 years old, and young Jacob Mitchell's already shown that he's going to be a star of the future, and we've got another young guy coming from karting and seal track racing. So modified class is looking really strong, and I'm hoping for over 30 cars for the New Zealand Champs. Going by the rumours, it's looking pretty good. Yeah,
that's awesome, isn't it? And of course, you'll have your standard stuff, your Battle of Stocks. Of course, Suck It Up Battle of Stocks. You'll have your Modified Invasion. Any other cool promotions you got coming up as well?
So you put me on the spot there a little bit. Yeah, we've actually tripped out a little bit this year with this whole COVID deal going on. We normally run 18 nights a year, but just with all that uncertainty during the off-season, we had plenty of meetings and discussions with the board of the club, and we decided to just trim back to 16 nights this year. So there's a lot of action-packed cram nights, like back to the 5th of December, actually got the qualifying round of the Canterbury Demolition Derby Teams Champs, and that's always some good fun. But yeah, obviously we've got a lot of our usual favourites. We've also got the Garage 16 South Island Modified Championship on the 9th of January. That'll be really neat. That'll give some teams a good opportunity to really test out how their cars are going. We've got Jamie Fox coming down for that, so that's cool. It'll be good to see Team Fox down here. Really looking forward to that. So I think these North Islanders are pretty keen to get down here and try and take that New Zealand title. And we've got our traditional Street Stock State of Origin, which is always a really good meeting. Street Stock Teams Racing. If you haven't been to the Street Stock State of Origin at Christchurch, thanks to Kiwi Auto Spares, you need to come along to that. It's awesome.
Good stuff. Well, Steve, we'll let you carry on. You know you're a busy man. And best of luck tonight. Let's hope the weather holds out. I'm sick of rain. I'm sure you're sick of rain, so let's just get on with it.
Oh, absolutely. Our weather guy reckons 10 o'clock's get done by 10 and we should be good. So fingers crossed.
So I'm packing up in the rain then?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, well, that's all right then. Right, that's Steve Lennon, of course. Let's go. We walk over here. And one of the other main reasons we're here tonight is for these guys that are sitting over here, which is the Stockcars. And we can see them lined up over the back here. And what can you say? For those people from the States especially that are tuning in from Flow Racing in America, that's how we look here. You can see the green cars here, Greymouth Grizzlies, and most of the people that are from the States haven't seen these types of cars before, but generally what you see here, there's two types of cars that look like this. There's a stock car, and this is what they call a stock car, and of course the super stock. Here's Harley Rob. Look at him, eh? Look at all shy. His car's not ready either. So basically this is what you're looking at here is a stock car. So these are predominantly powered by either Holden or Falcon 6-cylinder engines, and very limited to their engine capacity. And the only real difference between a super stock is a bucket load of money and a V8 engine, really. So this is the Greymouth Grizzlies we're looking at the moment. And these guys, of course, at Wellington, I think last year went pretty damn good. Down the other side there, we can see we've got the guys from the Canterbury team. So that's the Canterbury Crushers down there. And then on the other side, this pretty smart-looking outfit here is the Otago team. And they've done a pretty good job of putting a team together. And as Steve alluded to before, a team full of experience and got everything sort of sorted out. So these guys, really there's no rules for teams racing. They'll put, usually they'll put 4 to 5 cars on the track from each team, and bit glitchy. They'll put 4 cars on the track at once of each team, and the idea is to wipe each other out. It's just that simple, really. So be interested to see who wins tonight, so hang in there and check it all out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome along to Koken Tools Woodford Glen Speedway. Yep, it's another night of Speedway racing, and this is a night that I really enjoy. Mainland Stockcar Teams, 4 teams of stock cars racing each other, 2 of them Canterbury teams, so that means it's a 50-50 that a Canterbury team is going to win this.
Yeah, that was a loaded coin, just quickly.
Isn't it? Yeah. And also the Canterbury Super Saloon Champs, and I love the Canterbury Super Saloon Champs because it's almost like a South Island Championship, and if anything it has, I think, even slightly more edge to it than the South Island title does. The whole deal brought to us by New Zealand Building Removals. So we've got to say a big thank you to New Zealand Building Removals. If you have a building and you need it removing, you need to talk to New Zealand Building Removals.
They've certainly moved 1 or 2 buildings around here and, over the time. And as we look to the track, the first of the 4 teams out on the track, it is the Canterbury Crushers, and they are looking resplendent in their bright red with the rhinos tonight.
Absolutely. The great Canterbury colours there, Canterbury red and black, and they've even got a little mascot as well, which is even more cool.
Yeah, well, Jack Reed out there, Michael Reed's boy, he's of course they follow with the 107 car around the countryside.
Absolutely. So let's tell you who's out there in the different teams as we're watching them go past. And of course, we should say, I said a big thank you to and welcome to everyone in the stadium, but a big welcome too to everyone who's live streaming tonight.
Yes,
we've got a whole heap of people from around New Zealand and around the world, courtesy of the Pits TV and Flow Racing. Big welcome along to Christchurch to Woodford Glen Speedway to you guys as well.
So the Canterbury Crushers are out there at the moment, and leading us around it is the beautiful tank, because tanks are beautiful, of Chris Wildley, followed there with... Slightly biased. Behind him is the 56C of Awa Johns. He was the captain last week at Greymouth, and then we move back to the 107, the ever youthful Colin Cameron, with Jack Reed behind him in the miniature car. The 151 of Wade Sweeting, the young fella with a big future there, and then the 687 of Hadley Smith, which will be interesting if Hadley gets to race against Greymouth tonight at any point, because of course he is an ex-Greymouth resident.
And I think even raced for the Grizzlies on a previous
Well,
occasion.
I heard a whisper that a certain Mr. Oliver would come out of retirement teams racing just to race against Hadley.
And,
So-
I would also like to say that the 687 Hadley Smith's car looks
Better?
so much prettier tonight than it normally does.
Yes, he's getting absolute grief in the pits over his body because, of course, he is one of the later versions of the Rees chassis, which is the nude
Yeah.
look or the bodiless look.
Yeah.
And is now ironically getting as cliche as a Ford wide body. And of course now he's put the Ford on it. It just looks so much better. Okay, we better talk about the team behind them, which is actually the team that gave the Crushers a bit of a hurry up last week.
Yeah.
It is the Greymouth Grizzlies. The leading the round is car 46 of, I'm trying to remember which Martin it is. There we go. There's my list there right in front of me. You think I'd actually read it. Daniel Martin leading us round in the 46 car. Behind him, the 91, his brother, Sean Martin. Then we go to the 417. Now, we're probably going to... His name's Kurt Browning, but we'll probably end up referring to him as Pockets throughout the night because it is his nickname. We move back to the 187 of Taylor Forbes, more known for racing out of Blenheim and Nelson, but he did the trek down to Greymouth and ran with the Grizzlies last week. And then the bearded wonder, Dave Houston, there in the 74 car. And when you I make that comment, you wait till you see him, Tony. He makes my beard look like just a little puppy. And of course, the Otago Medal was one of the supportings of the Canterbury Crushers, but we have their one of their Macs out there. I think it's called Enforcer, the truck. Seems almost appropriate, doesn't
Very
it?
appropriate for Stockcar Teams racing.
Over the back side of the track. I was about to say something inappropriate then. It is the Otago Outlaws. Now, it's great for Otago to have a stock car team back on the track. That is something it's actually big for the sport. It's big for stock car teams racing in the South Island, and it is really good from a promotional point of view. Leading us round, it is the young son of Michael Harris in the miniature tank, but then we move back to the 131 car of, where's me list again, of Luke Fallow. Now, he too has been running a bodiless look on his car, so he's throwing a body on that one, so that's going to confuse me a couple of times tonight. Now, Nathan Taylor, no stranger, he's contracted to just about every track in the South Island at some point, in the 73, followed by his brother, the 84, Mark Taylor. Now, just have a look at their cars, Tony, as they're going around.
Yeah.
Yellow and blue, but each car's...
Either yellow or blue.
No. Each side of the car is either yellow or blue. So the cars that we see on the infield from one side are completely different to what we see on the other side. And it's kind of... Key Kings have done it, but they've actually gone and matched it up so that the cars aren't even the same.
That's right.
Then we go through to the 521 of Michael Harris, the 861 of Jacob Bolton, another Bolton in stock car racing, running, of course, his father's number. And then the coolest looking car in, well, I say the Otago tank because I think the tank's the prettiest. It is the 27 of Peter Knight, and that flat chassis is a weapon of a car, ex-Neil car out of the North Island, and he will, with his experience around here from street stocks, watch out for that 27.
How long has he been raced? Well, I don't mean to be rude, but I mean he's got he brings great experience.
He certainly does.
To the team. Let's put it that way. Sorry, I didn't mean to be kind. I'm just meant, it's impressive. Great career he's had.
Then we move back to the GT Performance Christchurch Barbarians. Well, yeah,
now the Christchurch Barbarians, otherwise known as the Nichols family.
Well, no,
it's not. To be fair,
I was going to say that there are some other surnames in there, just not many. Okay, so they're leading him around. We'll do it on as per it's on the track. Car 7, Mark Nichols Senior. So we'll probably end up just calling him Senior, and we'll call Mark Nichols Junior. Junior is probably logical as the evening goes on because it is going to get a little bit confusing. Then we go back to the 13 car of Jaden Nichol, and then 36 adopted son for the weekend, Daniel McNally, and we go to Junior, and the only car that has the white number. Actually, no, I tell a lie. It is the 6 car, the only other car with a white number. So yeah. Having a Murray Walker moment here, is the adopted uncle for the weekend. It is the 222N of Rico Gray.
Of course, he's well familiar with this track too.
Yeah, the wrecker.
Many times.
Well, yes, he certainly has. But this will be an interesting one because this is actually his first outing in the car for the season. Now, all of these teams have got some brilliant sponsors that have come on board. We'll probably end up pushing the Canterbury Crushers because we're slightly biased. Well, certainly I am. I'll concede to that.
Why not?
But yes, as you look at the mini stocks heading around, it's going to be a hard, torrid night for the stock car teams. It is not the draw I think any of the teams wanted. But hey, that's the way the coin flies, and when it hit the ground, and it did, it went straight to the floor, and no double-sided coins. They checked on that, especially because it came from Ricky Bolton's pocket, and this has all been done on a coin toss.
I'm surprised he'd let any coins out of his pocket, didn't he?
He got it back.
Oh, okay. With
Yes.
interest, I expect. So what is the draw? Tell us.
So we have Greymouth will be up against Otago.
Yep.
And the Barbarians will be up against the Crushers.
Oh boy.
And that was not the draw of the Crushers or the Barbarians. In fact, the look on Dan McNally's face and who else was in there was Troy Curry, who's managing or assistant managing the Crushers, was just that they're just like they had a hot curry that had gone off. They were not happy, but it's the way it plays out. To beat the best, you've got to be the best. You've got to survive. We've had a lot of talk during the week amongst the team about what this is going to look like tonight. Now, for those viewing at home, yes, this is teams racing, but you have to remember for a lot of these guys, this is their first hit out of the season. I'm expecting this to be massive hits. I'm expecting one or two to go off the end. I'm expecting a bit of pole line cutting, and I'm expecting a little bit of seeking sanctuary, which is horrible to say that because people are like, oh, you can't say that about drivers. The reality is this is the first race of the season. You watch the car in front of you, the car goes around the corner, you forget there's grass between you and the car, you make mistakes. This is all leading up to the New Zealand title in Wellington. It is about practicing. Yes, it's a promotion. Yes, we want to see some wreck cars. Yes, we want to see some awesome teams racing. But for these teams, they're taking it as a practice.
Absolutely. That's, of course, the New Zealand Stockcar Teams title you're talking about there,
yes.
Not the actual stock car title. And, of course, we have a big title here at Koken Woodford Glen this season, too.
Yeah, interesting enough, the same weekend as the Stockcar Teams title.
And that's what made me think of it. February 19th and 20th, the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified title is here at Koken Tools Woodford Glen. If you want to see the best modified racing in New Zealand, you'll need to be here for that weekend. You can get your tickets online. Check out the Woodford Glen website or iticket.co.nz, and you can purchase your tickets to guarantee you entry to that event. Big thanks to Garage 16 for bringing us that.
Now, interesting enough, we have, of course, the Canterbury Super Saloon Champs tonight. And
yes.
This is, I think that this is one of those great events. You mix a bit of hard, fast racing. I think the cool thing about tonight is you don't have a full field of 25 cars and you've got to do qualifying and all that. And we end up with the scenario where we end up with a pole line shuffle race at the end of the night. You've got a concentrated group of cars that are doing 3 heats that are going to go absolutely nuts from the start. You have to start passing cars from that first corner.
That's right. Of course, in the past, we've tended to run a lot of our Super Saloon titles on the basis of 2 heats and then a maximum points to the front, and so fastest to the front, and you run a big long final. Tonight, we're running 3 15-lap heats according to the Speedway New Zealand format, which means basically everyone gets a front, middle, and back start over the course of the 3 heats. And it really comes down to who makes the most passes, who passes the most cars in front of them. And
of course, it does have that certain, I guess you say, quality that you have to have cars that are consistent all night. Because if you start off the front in the first race and by the time you get to the back, your back grid, half the field could be gone. So you really, from a racer's point of view, to be a true champion, you'd love to have full fields and that sprint sort of feel about it. Of course, 1 or 2 changes in drive, or one or two drivers out there that are. Well, I'm thinking of Chris Cowling. Let's not dance around.
Yep.
He is going to be really interesting to see how he goes in the 891 tonight.
We talked about that a little bit in the intro. He did put in some very fast laps here a year ago when he was here in his own car, the New Zealand title. Made up a lot of places in the final of that event, even though it was not really a very happy weekend for him. But absolutely, tonight he's here rather more, I think, in a bit of a development role with the 891 car. It's a brand new car for Josh Bolton, and I'm sure Josh is really keen, as he put it, to make sure I've put it together properly. And that's what Chris will be able to tell him.
When the Cowlings had the car up on stands, well, Josh's pit crew and the Cowlings had the car up on stands just before the meeting, and they were pulling bits off and changing things around. I just sort of leant over to Josh and went, does this mean you've already made a mistake? And he sort of candidly went, no, they've already been down yesterday and fixed all of that in the workshop. So, but of course, one of the things, and you don't get to see it at home, and certainly not here in the grandstands, is how much technology is in that car.
Yeah.
There is digital readouts on there's stuff that you would imagine only in a V8 supercar. And it is, I think that car is the pinnacle of what super saloons could be in this country in the next couple of years. But you've got to get the thing around the track. It's actually got a handle. It's got to go fast.
It's got to go fast, and that's not always an easy thing to to achieve out of the box, and that is a brand new car out of the box at the start of this season. So he's only had a couple of meetings. Anyway, on track, you can see what's out there now, and it looks rather exciting because it's street stocks, and it's a big field of street stocks here. I can't even begin to count the number we've got on our list here, but it must be about 20 odd.
Yeah, well, it gets interesting because as we head towards the latter part of the season, of course, the New Zealand title's in Dunedin this year.
Yes.
And big numbers down there, I believe, last meeting. And that is an awesome track for street stock racing. And let's be fair, it has been a successful ground for at least one Canterbury driver getting a New Zealand title a few years ago. So you'll see street stocks will really grow towards, as we head towards the New Zealand title. They'll go down there in full force, and hopefully, not that you're allowed the teams race, but hopefully they'll stay loyal to the South Island, and then more importantly loyalty to the just watching the 44 GM cars. It's actually sitting there with the wheels are spinning on it already. Either it's got serious clutch slip, or he's in gear and he's trying to burn out his clutch.
Who knows? All right, we're getting ready for some racing. Street stocks opening the bill tonight here at Koken Tools Woodford.
As we get away, the 98 car leads us in with the 62 of McSherry. Fair up the back end of him, giving him a bit of a hurry up through 1 and 2. They get onto the back straight, and the first and second have just peeled away. There's been a little bit of a chaos. It looks like Levi spun around on turn 1 and 2. McSherry is in the 62, is already into the lead. He very aggressive in the start. They all funnel through him. Oh, the 74 car ricocheting off the wall round there. Out in front, it is McSherry in the 62. Back to the 98. The 31V goes flying around on the front straight. We've got cars trying to go introduce themselves to the Koken stand as we are back racing. And our race leader is about to come around. I think the 74 car there parked up is Zach Simcock as 93 rejoins on the front straight. It looks like the 26 car there might be trying to get past it. Yeah, that 74 is going to be a problem in the next lap or two. Our race leader into Enviro race once again. Dave McSherry is not wasting any time. He's got the Sora up and flying tonight. We move back to Chris Miles. Third on the track, I'm picking it as the 433 of Matt Peterson, then back to the 27 of Leslie. Our race leader down the heads past the Valley Cars Warehouse Grandstand as we funnel on into 1. There's pushing and shoving all around, fairly rampant pace here as we watch the 28 car just go through on the 93 down the back straight into Enviro race. McNally, and not the normal McNally, into the 121 car there coming through as the park cars, they're just starting to cause a little bit of congestion. The 26 looking, is he going to give the 74 a push? Not. As we funnel 3 wide, and we're taking full advantage of the pole line tonight by the looks of it.
Yeah, indeed.
So right about now, I suspect that Silcock's waiting for about a 1,500 kilo enema to arrive. As our race leader is McSherry, he's through the back markers and he's got clear space as he heads down the back straight. As the 777 car's fired to the infield, and Kahu will get that car turned around and racing. A race lead across the once again back through. He's opened up a huge gap over the 98 car, and I'm picking that Garthley there. No, Garthley's one of the back markers. Third on the track, it is. No, it is Garthley. I'm getting myself all confused. Good grief, the street stocks are going all twirly-whirly. Whoa, the 27 car's nowhere to go. Slams into the back end of the 822 car, which was on the infield. And
that woke him up.
Well, yeah, if you're going to go park on the grass, make sure you're well off the track. I always thought it was going to be the one parked on the track that was the issue. Anyway, we are still racing. The 44 car pulls, and McNally tries to give it a swipe, and Schumacher's just going to drive it to the wall down here at turn 1. Well, our race leader's actually just having to squeeze past the 121, and we are... Yeah, Dave McSherry slowed right up. So the 44 car from Greymouth pulling to the infield on the back straight. Race leader past the Valley Cars Warehouse Grandstand once again. And we look to see where we're looking on the track. Garthley running second. So Don Garthley's second meeting out in this 33 car, having an absolute blinder. Van Lyshout, he got on the brakes and he squeezed it right before he pulled up on the back of the 74 of Simcock. Get the name right eventually, you never know. Anyway, it is our race leader. He started on the front. He's going to finish on the front. The 62 that he saw of Dave McSherry comes whistling around through Enviro Waste. He's going to take the checker just behind the back marker of Van Lyshout. And that was a fairly hectic Garthley taking second, and Matt Peterson, the 433, in third.
It was an extremely hectic race, goodness me. And fastest lap of 19.66 by Alan Aitchison. But goodness gracious me, if you are watching this live in the stadium, of course you'll just go, oh yeah, that's 3 socks. But if you're watching this in other parts of the world via the Pits live stream, you'll be going, what did I just see?
Yes.
Banger racing on steroids. Yes, we do this sort of stuff in Kiwi land. We're mad when it comes to motor racing, utterly mad. And if you thought that was mad, wait till the stock car teams come out.
Yeah, well, you purposefully had to wreck each other on that one as we look at the final results, all heading through. What a great race. Oh, I'm getting a point here. Oh, Rob McSherry's in Dave's car tonight. Oh, well, that explains the hectic pace. So I called it as Dave. You'd think the ELS has just cleaned itself up for us. And so Rob in the car.
There we are. Well done, Rob McSherry. Good win to get under your belt. That race brought to us by Mobile Foods. They do all the hot dogs and chips and pies, drinks, sandwiches, sweets, all that sort of stuff around here at Koken, Woodford, Glen. You'll find them down in the food shop at the south end of the track and also in the food vans in the pits and around the north end as well.
Hi, welcome to X Factor Cars, Southland's multi-award-winning pre-owned dealership. We've been based in Invercargill since 2004, but with a nationwide delivery service available, we'll deliver the car to your door. Stock us of classic collectibles, V8s, family vehicles, trade vehicles, and everything in between. With an in-house finance and insurance specialist, we're with you every step of the way. We're extremely proud to be the naming rights partner of X Factor Cars Riverside Speedway. Thinking American or Aussie muscle, family vehicle or custom? Think X Factor Cars.
How we going? Smoker time. No, I've been I have a beer, mate. Still working. Raspberry and Coke for me, thank you, Lauren. Busy, hey. All right, mate. I'll catch you up later on. Good to see you. Chill. Oh, second flat tyre in 2 days. Here's my phone. Get wholesale tyres in Whakatane.
Need truck tyres? Wholesale tyres. Good tyres, better prices, great people.
So on track at the moment, Super Saloons. You can see the 86 car of Hayden Mackay there. Great to have him back after some difficult meetings the first few of the season.
Oh, I think the end of last season wasn't so flashy.
No, it
Just
wasn't.
quietly, I think from New Zealand title onwards, it was getting a bit. The car took a beating.
Yes, it did. So he'll be keen for a good, solid performance over 3 heats tonight. Who else have we got out there? We've got the 22C car. That is Ian Stewart. Yep. Of course, that's a relatively new car to the track. It's brand new Hypermax chassis, current generation, and Ian Stewart's spent a lot of time involved in motorsport in the US, and he's back in New Zealand now, and you're really interesting to see him get to grips with that car.
Yeah, it's probably one of the last of the Gen 5 Hypermaxes. Gen 6 is around the corner for Trevor Elliott.
Yep.
He's got the brand new one coming, and it'll be interesting as Ian adjusts. He's had 2 races in the car. So put that into context, quite a few years away from the track and then 2 races.
Yep.
And he's jumping into a Canterbury Champs with a bunch of guys that really are on song at this point of the season.
Absolutely. Fluffy Grocot's in the 73 car, Mark Grocott from Brown and Syme. Fantastic car that. He's had a lot of success in that car over the last couple of seasons without ever really taking away a top New Zealand title place, which he probably really deserved based on some of his performances.
Yeah, I think it's one of the not so delightful things about a New Zealand title being on one night.
Yeah.
Start looking at some of the series around the country, whether it be Pro Dirt, whether it be Super Cup. and how their formats have been. It's been about consistency and attending meetings. New Zealand title does have that limitation of being one night, but by all means, when you win it, you are so proud.
Let's talk about some of the other drivers there too. 19, of course, Malcolm Nartai. He's had a couple of seasons campaigning the Super Saloon now, former New Zealand title holder in the Super Stock class, and he's been very quick on occasion around here in that Gorge chassis. We've got Ian Burson in the 21N. Very, very quick around this track. 861 is Ricky Bolton, Speedway New Zealand president, and not a bad peddler of a Super Saloon, you'd have to say.
Well, he's brought the aggression from the Super Stock. Actually, to be fair, all three of the drivers you just mentioned have all got too old for Super Stocks. Yep. Matured from Super Stocks to Super Saloons. And but yeah, Ricky is getting more and more intense in the 861 car, so she's going to be a fun night for him.
871, Luke Keegan, former New Zealand title holder, multiple New Zealand title holder in modifieds. We're making a return to the track in one of the Bolton cars there. Also, we've got off the front there the 88 of Dave Manera from Nelson. Good to see him along here, and the 27 of Trevor Elliott. But it looks as though we're going to get a race start as they come round. Brian has the green flag ready to wave. Wave it does, and racing we are. 58, Richie Taylor, drag racing with the 88 of Dave Manera. Manera gets a great start around the outside line and manages to take us through turn 2 in the lead. 34T, Ray Stewart having a good run there in third, but up the inside, the 27 of Trevor Elliott looking very quick as well. Behind them, the 73, Fluffy Grocott, and the 817 of Luke Keegan. Oh, Jackson Lovelady, I beg your pardon, in the 817, and Keegan near the back in the 871. I'm going to get those mixed up with my dyslexic brain, aren't I? So out front, let's stick with the bright pink 88 Manera machine from Nelson, under a lot of pressure from the 58 of Richie Taylor. These two starting off the front row, they've got to make the most of the front row start they had. Richie tried to get up the inside of the 88 car there, but couldn't quite make the pass stick. He's alongside him on the back straight and into Enviro turn. He's got Trevor Elliott tucked in behind him, and I think Richie's going to get his nose in front coming into turn 1. He does. He should make it work this time as he pushes Manera out wide, and Trevor Elliott itching to get on with the job right on the back of the 58 Fairview fiberglass car.
Incident at turn 1.
Oh, turn 1, 871 has beached itself there in the middle of turn 1.
I suspect he was, that was under braking he's done that. There was a bit of a moment, and we'll see if there's a replay of it. Malcolm Nartai's damage came from a lap or so earlier. I think someone clipped the front of him on the way, on one of the passing manoeuvres. There's no replay on that one, unfortunately. So we get Keegan. He's going to just get rounded and rejoin the pack. It'll be interesting to see what they call on that, because he wasn't I don't believe he was the cause of the incident. I think he was the last one to arrive.
So they're just checking the steering on the 871 car.
Interesting battle at the front here. Manera really coming into form with the ex-Mark Osborne car.
Yeah.
And he's had that for a season now, and really just battling at wheel to wheel with Richie. Trevor Elliott, you sense down low that car has got everything it needs, and he just trying to get past, but Richie knows how to shut the race down.
Oh, absolutely. And once Richie Taylor gets to the front of a field, it's very hard for anyone to get past him. He's the latest of late breakers into turn 3, and he just manages to control the line to make it his car twice as wide as it truly is, and very hard to get past.
I think it comes with a Gorge chassis as you get elbows, and then you get very big elbows as the seasons go on. But no, Richie knows how to control a race. You know, once you get to the front, you don't have to try and set a lap record. There are one or two drivers in the sort of the annals of Speedway history that love to try and just blow the field apart. He conserves the car and brings it home in one piece. So let's just see how he goes with these two cars behind him.
All right, 3 laps down. We're about to go racing again. Very tight in Indian file down the back straight, and we're green and we're racing again. Richie Taylor, not surprisingly, gets on the gas and leads us away from Manera. And the 73 of Mark Grocott running a high line there, trying to get past the 27 of Elliott, but can't quite make it work out of turn 2. And those 4 opened up just the slightest of gaps on Ray Stewart's 34 and the 817 of Jackson Lovelady, who has really come to grips with that car in the last few meetings and is putting in some great lap times there. So 58, Richie Taylor leads the pack. Dave Manera tucked in behind. Trevor Elliott in 3rd place, but to my mind looks as though he's got the speed. He just needs to find the track position to get past Manera. A lot of pressure on those guys from Mark Grocott in the 73 car. Ray Stewart tucked in there as well, and look who's coming through the field from near the back. It's that 21 of Ian Burson. Looking very racy, running a higher line to the rest of the field, and starting to make some serious inroads there. I wouldn't be surprised if Burson has the fastest lap times at the moment. Richie definitely backing the pack up there, coming out of turn 2, heavily onto the brakes into turn 3. You get the feeling he's holding everyone up. I don't know if this is a strategy to get everyone behind him to go nose to tail or what, but Manera trying his best to get past Richie Taylor, but as we said, he's a difficult, tricky customer to get by. A little bit of contact there on the back of the 58 car. We're almost 3 wide. We are almost 3 wide there into turn 3. Manera half spins. Elliott gets caught up in and gets pushed out to the ripple strip, loses a couple of places. Burson takes advantage of all that, gets the nose of his car into 3rd place. Fluffy Grocott as well, taken over 2nd. And I tell you what, I'm not sure if Richie Taylor is just lacking a little bit of pace compared to the rest of the field, or whether he's deliberately backing them up. But it's an absolute melee tucked in behind him there. All of these cars in the space of one straight, and that's a pretty unusual sight, particularly on lap 9 of this 15-lap race. So it's still out front, Richie Taylor in the 58 car, Mark Grocott in the 73. Burson trying to thread his way between those cars. He's got Elliott tucked in behind him. He's racing hard with Manera. Ray Stewart racing with the 817 of Jackson Lovelady. And a good contest between Mackay and the 891 of Cowling there too. Out front, the lead has changed. Richie Taylor gets pushed off the track as he half spins, and about half of the field half spins in sympathy. And so just as Mark Grocott got to the front, the yellow light comes on.
You sort of sensed that was coming, and it was... Richie did what once the back end of that car broke, he knew that he was broadside in front of about 12 cars. He just wellied it and spun himself around. Manera was just pushed around. It was... And I guess if you're a plastic welder right about now, you're assessing life.
Oh, yes.
And certainly if you sell race tape, this might be a moment where you just better get your orders in, because the containers are running late at the moment.
So we have a quick look at the replay there, courtesy of Koken Tools. You can see the lead changed there. Mark Grocott in the 73 had got to the lead, but there's Richie in the 58 car, just gets sideways, takes a bunt in the side of the car from the 27, who really had nowhere to go. Manera goes into the side of the 27, and 5 other cars there spin up in sympathy to try and avoid, and they did avoid too, in full fairness. One
thing to point out with the 58 cars, that was a 5-coil car last season, so it had your bird cages and whatnot running off you. There, I'm getting myself all tongue-tied, my thoughts aren't working. But it was a it's now become a torsion rear end car. So the torsions operate differently, and Richie's got to learn this stuff. It's a different handling car this year, and something has either gone in the back or there's just something not right. It was very, very sideways. He couldn't pull it back in. Now Richie is one of those drivers, he's got all the experience and all the ability in the world, and he just couldn't pull the thing back round. So something's not 100%.
Something's not right.
And talking about something that's not 100%, the front end of Malcolm Nartai's car, getting some great advertising for Challenge YMAC and Suck It Up Limited, but probably not aerodynamically undesirable.
So of course, being a Speedway New Zealand format, if you don't score points in the first heat, you're kind of out of luck for the rest of the championship. But this is the format the drivers wanted to run, and it certainly rewards the drivers that are committed to passing through the course of the night. But Malcolm, you do feel for him there in the middle in the 19 car, just out of the first heat. So they're trying to reposition the cars. They need to go back to the grid order they were in on the lap prior to the yellow light.
To be fair to the other competitors, they've adjudged the 58 car as the primary cause of the incident, and it's fair to say that car was fairly sideways by the time Trevor Elliott arrived at it.
Yeah, I doubt anyone could really argue too much with that, although Richie might try, but yeah. So he gets put to the back as the prime cause, which leaves Mark Grocott in the 73 car as the leader at the moment.
And if you look at both the 73 and the 21 car, they went venturing out to a higher line.
Yes.
And that's where they found their drive. Both the 73 and the 21 cars have got a lot of forward momentum at the moment. Just wondering whether if Trev might have cooked the tyres on that low part of the track.
Maybe so. So 10 laps of the 15 have been completed, so it's going to be a 5-lap sprint to the finish. They're all bunching up past the Value Cars Warehouse Grandstand into Envirowaste turn. We wait for the green. It's going, and we are racing. 73 Mark Grocott there, just under a lot of pressure from 21 Ian Burson. Burson fancies his chances here, but around the outside, the 73 car has a slingshot off turn 2 and gets ahead of Burson on the back straight. They're coming into turns 3 and 4 now. Elliott keeping the car down low. Fluffy Grocott and Ian Burson running a mid to high line on the track. Burson takes it low into the turn, trying to force the 73 car out wide, but the 73 just loves that. He just gets that slingshot off turn 2, and I think Burson's going to have to look at running higher through 1 and 2 if he's going to try and get past. Bit of contact mid-pack there. The 86 of Mackay having a bit of an issue. Burson again tucks the nose in front out of turn 2, and again the slingshot round the outside of Grocott. It's a good battle between these two for the lead in this race. Elliott's dropping back a car length or two. Dave Manera is still holding on to 4th place, and plenty of battles further down the field as well. Out front, Burson looking for the slingshot up the inside, can't make it work. Mark Grocott knows he's there. He's able to adjust his line just to make it too tight for Burson to get through the inside there. And although you get the feeling that Burson has the quicker car, he doesn't have track position, and it's costing him here. He's just looking for a mistake for the track to go off on the outside, and maybe that's what would lead to the 73 car slowing up a bit, but it's not happening now. We're just into the last zone now. We should be looking at a white flag, I would have thought. I was told it was a 15-lap race, but it's as though we've done 15 laps already. Still the battle for the lead rages. This time, Mark Grocott doesn't get the slingshot. Can Burson get tight under braking in 3 and 4? He can't really. He's still on the back. This time the white flag waves, and so now we're in the white zone. Just 1 lap to go. 1 lap for Ian Burson to do or die to take the win in this race. Is he brave enough? Does he need to, or will he settle for second? We've got cars coming to a halt down the front straight there. The 86 has got an issue. Coming off turn 3, the cars are all over the show, and I think 21 just got his nose in front.
Burson got that. He got it by 0.06, but I think we've got the 86 car down here with either a broken hub. I'm hoping for his sake it's a broken hub, not another broken axle.
I would love to see a replay of the lead cars coming out of turn 3 and 4 there on that last lap, because that looks like some very unorthodox lines by Burson to manage to get his car ahead and take the win.
Something is seriously wrong with the 86 cars. As we look at the results, Burson taking that one away by 0.06 of a second. Bearing in mind 0.5 of a second is how long it takes you to blink your eye.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's literally where the lap scoring units mounted on the car. That's what made the difference there. Grocott, Elliott, Manera, Stewart, Lovelady, Cowling, Bolton, Keegan and Taylor. And then we start with the, I guess we'll call them the DNFs.
Mackay, Stewart and Malcolm Nato. And from that view on the pits TV there definitely shows you what the problem is with the 86 car. Its rear wheels are looking a bit pancaked and flat.
I'm hoping for Hayden's sake, because of course last meeting here it snapped an axle. They're not the cheapest things to replace on one of these. I'm hoping for his sake it's just the hubs collapse rather than a large piece of axle. And Malcolm Nato wants to get back in the pits. Normally he rushes back in the pits to jump between cars.
So this, I think, is the last lap. We're seeing them coming off turn 4. You can see coming off turn 4 there, Ian Burson does the switcheroo, switches to the inside line, having gone very high and very deep, and it's just enough to get the slingshot off. Here it is again.
If Fluffy had moved down a fraction of a car length, he was going to end up with an absolute dating.
So this is coming down the back straight, coming into turn 3 and 4.
Burson
very, very high out by the wall, the 21 car. He knew he had to keep his foot up it and trust the car.
So squared.
And he cuts to the inside at this point here, and he's got the momentum, and it's just enough at the start-finish line to win by a blink of an eye.
Yeah, he was giving it everything it had. As we look to the first part of the race there, where Manera just came in a little bit hot, using full steering lock to save that car.
Fantastic images from the Pits TV. Thank you to them for putting together a great package for us watching tonight.
Fluffy's stolen the flag though.
How did that work?
No, first to the flag takes the flag. Have you not learnt that?
Okay.
I would say...
What weird rules do they run down here at Koken, Woodford, Glen?
To be fair, I remember years ago a certain driver by the name of Wayne Anderson, aka Scabber, who finished somewhere down the pack, and Malcolm Nato won the Superstock race, Scabber still went and grabbed the checkered flag. He said,
Well.
nobody remembers the actual results. They only remember who got the flag, as Fluffy takes that round in the 73 Brown and Sign machine. And as we look through, view very clearly shows that Ian Burson took it away. But I guess you're not looking at the other car when you're driving, are you?
No, that's exactly right. Burson quickest on lap 17 and lap 16 there at the ends of that race, at that 15-lap race.
Big business or small business, we've got mobile solutions to give any size business an edge. Our regionally based account managers can scope your business and deliver to your evolving needs. Take control of your team's business mobiles with individual plans or shared data pools, along with solutions that offer increased control over device and data security and the flexibility to easily manage your team's mobiles and apps. Whatever your business, whatever your size, talk to your Spark customer lead or business hub today.
It's action for the whole family. With 23 tracks around New Zealand, there is no better way to spend your weekends than at a Speedway New Zealand track.
Here they come to the start-finish line again.
There's something for the whole family. Sprint cars, saloons, stock cars, sidecars, midgets, and much, much more. Pack up the family and make a trip to adrenaline-filled, action-packed bashes and crashes that only Speedway can deliver. Visit www.speedway.co.nz to find out the track nearest to you. Speedway, it's our summer thing.
Now this is an interesting team, isn't it, Ivan?
It is an interesting team. It's a couple of guys here have done a fair bit of racing, as in Mark Senior in the 7 car, and we all know Rico Gray's done a fair bit of racing in teams racing, but hasn't raced for a few seasons. So yes, it's like riding a bike, but teams race for your first event back in after a while.
I can ride a bike, but I ain't going to go do a mountain bike trail anytime soon. So you've just got to bear this in mind. Of course, Rico now back in the Westbury car that he had for many years, and probably the one he made famous with when a certain Mr. Gaskin made the biggest mistake of his race career. But anyway, over the far side we have the Canterbury Crushers gridding up. Of course, they get some warm-up laps, so this isn't the race.
So there'll be 4 laps. They'll get to test it out, and then 50,000 people will jump the pit fence and try and change some wonderful things.
Absolutely. Of course, all of this brought to us by New Zealand Building Removals, and trust me, we're going to need plenty of gear to remove some of these cars before the night's over and done with. As we look, of course, for the likes of the 13 car of Jaden Nicol and Mark Nicol Jr. This is going to be their first ever teams race. Rico Gray tries to hold them all up by doing sideways in the 222 off the corner. And actually same with Chris Wildey. And just look at the rest of the team. No, the rest of the Canterbury team has done teams racing before. So it is a bit of a baptism of fire for the Barbarians.
Good on them though to front up and put a 4th team in.
I guess one thing we do need to make a mention to, that Jay Holton, the manager of the Canterbury Crushers, whilst he's looked after the Canterbury Crushers, he has been fairly instrumental in the background supporting the Barbarians to help them get some numbers, because of course we wanted this to be a 4-team promotion. We did have another team, it dipped at the 11th hour, and the Barbarians there just practicing their pirouetting skills down at Enviro Waste. So for those of you listening at home and wondering why we call the narrow end of the track Enviro Waste, that is the turns 3 and 4 sponsored by that particular company. Ironically, a company where lots of stuff gets put into bins and dispatched, and I would expect to see turn 3 look like a bit of a factory for some rubbish tonight.
Yeah, maybe in the next team's race, and possibly once the Crushers come back out again in the semi-finals if they get that far. And I think you'll find this race here, one team will be able to prove a point and one will be able to get some points.
Yes, I think so. So I guess if you're sitting down at turn 3 and you feel this is a Chinese takeaway, put your numbers in, see what you want to order, see if you want to order a number 36 or a number 13, or maybe you have a preference for another number. But hey, look, it's going to be an interesting race. I would suspect that you'll see the red cars a little bit more tactical, and I'd expect if it's got a pink bumper on it, it is going to be coming in hard and fast.
So that's their warm-up laps all done. We'll just wait and see. Now, hopefully nobody comes to the pit gate. It's a team's race.
I remember years ago we used to plan it so the whole team went to the pit gate just to irritate the announcers.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be interesting. The Barbarians have pole.
Right.
Now, that means that they need to get up, they get the lead car up and choose where on the track they want to be, because certainly if you're the Crushers, you try and manoeuvre so that you got them as low down on the track as possible. You don't want to be up by the wall.
If I was the Crushers and you were setting up your runner, or your lead car off the front, I'd have them up there now and be positioned on the track where I'd want to be.
And of course, this is a bit of a tactic because we know that the Nichols and Dan McNally and Rico like hitting. We know that. That's a given. So do you run your strongest team with regards to who can hit the hardest, or do you run your fastest team? Logic says you need points, so you'd run your fastest and you just try and get clear of everybody and try and outrun on pace. But none of those cars that are sitting with pink bumpers are slow. They are all quick cars.
No, they're all quick cars, and as we say, the 222, Rico just parked up there at the pit gate, so we're wanting the belts probably ratcheted up a wee bit tighter.
As the McNally will pull up beside him.
So, do we know, is it points or is it first past the post?
I think there's a points element to it to get to the final. There's 6 teams races over the night.
Yep.
And so, in an ideal world, every team would race each other at least once. But I think the reality is that I think we end up with a points switch around for the second round, and then top on points after those 4 races goes to the final.
And it's good to see these cars in teams' colours. Literally, the Barbarians are in those colours every week.
Well, 3 of them certainly are, yes. And McNally, of course, this is the ex-Wobbly car, which is, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. No, Wayne Norris. Ex-Wayne Norris car from years ago.
So
and
they'll try and start calling them up into line.
And it looks like Junior could be. Of course, here we have a little bit of a gameplay too with teams racing. Who's going to come through? Is it going to be just do the swoop? So, yep, Junior's going to come up, and he has done exactly what he would want to do. Push the guys to the wall. Do not be surprised if the 6 car sits on the brakes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite a quick car, this car too.
Well, it's the ex-Ryan Hunt machine. It's had a couple of owners since then, but it is still very quick. Mark new to the grade. The 151 of Sweeting will join in behind him.
He went well from what I saw. I've watched a couple of video clips. He went well in Greymouth. He wasn't scared of it and wasn't buttoning off.
That thing is a rocket ship, and he's young too, and he's ballsy. He's not scared to put it on the line. It looks like McNally's going to sit with Johns on the infield. He is. So, front row, it is Nickel Jr. with Colin Cameron. Then we're back to Nickel Sr. on the outside with the 151 of Sweeting on the inside. The 13 of Nickel. Sorry. Yep. No, sorry. Jade Nickel. And then we to the outside, Hadley Smith, Chris Wildley in the 53 in the tank.
So we've
with
got
the wrecker in the 222 joining in the last car.
Nickel, and token Nickel.
I better not say that. I was going to come across as awfully prejudiced. Anyway, we are in the starter's hands. We are racing. Colin Cameron just dumped it and we Nickel
just purposely sits on the brakes.
Sits on the brakes.
He's not going anywhere.
And Smith goes through. Rico will go after the back end of the 687 car. Chris Wiley's got some fresh air. Wade Sweeting. He's got some pace as they try and take the 687 to the wall. Our race leader comes down the 107, and Nickel's about to get walloped in the wheelgate. Sweeting had a good shot there, and Colin Cameron's backed out of it a little bit. He knows he's just got to keep just ahead of the 7 car. Chris Wildley comes through. Hadley Smith gets going. The wrecker's going. Sweeting is just back to the infield to rejoin. Hadley Smith trying to see our race leader, Colin Cameron, coming through back to Mark Nickel Sr. Cameron has got to go it alone here. Can he go to the outside? He's going to wall up the 13 car, gets on the brakes, and something's gone wrong with the 13 car very quickly as the 7 car is going to wind in. He's going to have a crack at the 107 car, and he gets through. So Colin Cameron has got to chase down the 7 car, and I think Colin is going to have the pace. But the first car he's going to come to is Wade Sweeting, and he is circulating for the 7 car. 107 is going to have a crack here. Remember, Chris Wildley's on the lead lap as well. 687's parked in the wall. And Wildly goes through. So first, second are the Crushers. 7 car got to get himself around. 13's on the infield, 222's on the infield, and 6 is on the infield. So senior, on any given night, I would say this is a foregone conclusion, but we're talking about Martin Nichols Senior here, the man who has rattled some cages over the years.
The 6 is going again.
The 6 car is going. He will rejoin. And,
don't stop there.
Well, I'm sure someone will be here. So Wade Sweeting is going to come through. He is running block for the 107 car. He is going to pick up the 6 car at some point. So they don't have to run flat tack. They have cars.
Slowing up there is not a good spot.
As Sweeting gets into the 6 car, he's going to take him to the wall and introduce him to Mr. Concrete. So if you ordered a number 6 at turn 4, you got it. As the 151 there, he is just going to play with the 6 car. They're both on the infield, so they both have to break away and yield. So they've stopped. And really, from the perspective of Sweeting, he's taken the danger car out of the way. The 7 car has to do something, whether it's going to be enough.
Slowing up a wee bit.
Yes, but he's still a lap down.
And by himself.
He is lap 7. And yeah, well, Sweeting doesn't look like he's restarting. The 6 car's got to loop back around.
Chris is going to go through.
Chris is going to come through on the tank and give the 7 car a bit of a tickle up. And here we go. Pulls right out in front of the 6 car. And Colin Cameron joins in. They're just going to push the 7 car wide. And they go through. White flag will be next lap on picking. Both as Wade has got back out. So white flag is going to come out. The 107 in the 53 car running line astern. First and second on the track. White flag is out for Colin Cameron. The 7 car is going to come in hot here. So they need Sweeting at the other end of the track. Sweeting has got to get himself. No,
Chris has picked
him up, and he's just going to get on the brakes. Let Colin go through. Give the 7 car a bit of a hurry up. Yep, runs him out to the wall. Doesn't have to feed him, don't have to damage him. It is a win to the Canterbury Crushers. Colin Cameron takes it, and Chris Wild will come home at second. Third on the track will be Nichols Senior, followed by Sweeting. You can't ask for much better than that. And if you look at the Canterbury cars, still in reasonable condition, other than the fact that Paddy probably broke his body bolts on the car.
Yeah, so it was, hey, full credit to the Barbarians too. They put in a decent effort and they were thereabouts.
That was a lot more tactical than I was expecting from the Barbarians, to be honest. But unfortunately the gear broke. So the 222 will drive back into the pits, flat right front tyre on him. And yeah, with Jay Holton there, he's doing all sorts of interesting hand signals. So he's a happy boy.
So the first up win for the Canterbury Crushers. They'll take their victory lap.
Colin doesn't need his thumbs up, but beautifully done. You saw the tactics. You could see the thinking of the 53 car, Chris Wildey. He could have just gone, "Oh, Colin, we're both on the same lap. You take the punishment. I'll slip through. No, my job is to protect you." He protected his runner. He did a great job there. They're just checking on Hadley Smith.
He'll jump on board and do his lap, and hopefully the boys down at the buses are going to be pretty busy on the Barbarians team.
They certainly will be. The world will be going crazy. The grinders will be going. It's going to be fairly messy down there.
So there's the replay of the 151 taking the 6 to the wall, and he took him in pretty hard.
He made sure it was a committed hit. But just look at the acceleration. He hits him here, and then Woodford, it's like he hooks it down and just goes. And poor old Junior would not have known what was about to happen there. I think he knew, but by the time he realised, it would have been a bit late.
So that's just the appetizer. Next up, we've got Greymouth versus Otago.
And there's nothing better as a spectator of watching two teams you don't support, or not support, but have no emotions attached to this. So we're going to watch a couple of teams tear each other apart.
Just wreck some gear.
And we don't care. It's great. It's an outstanding solution for any promotion. So there's the Greymouth Grizzlies are out there now in the green bodies. And following them, it is the traditional blue and yellow, or blue and gold, depending on where you sit, of the Otago Outlaws. I keep wanting to call them the Cougars, but as the yeah.
He was looking up.
Yeah, so don't look for here for divine intervention. Just quietly.
So the Crushers just come past us after taking their victory lap.
Now the Otago team did throw a little bit of a curveball, because they rocked up with a team of 5 and a 6 driver.
Yep.
And 6 cars. So you look at that and you go, oh, how's that going to play out? Well, the reality is they've got one that's sat out, and it looks like it's going to be the 521 of Michael Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Which, well, I guess in context of at least these all 5 cars have their origins in Southland, or Otago rather.
Yep.
As we watched the replay there, Mark Nichols Sr., he just got the edge of Colin Cameron, but it wasn't enough. Cameron, he just needed him to go in the hit here on the 13 car, backing up to clear the incident, didn't look in his mirrors, I'm guessing, and just kawoomfa. Someone tried to turn his wheelgate inside out.
So the Otago Outlaws.
I do like the graphics.
They do look quite cool. Peter Knight's car. It's old school cool.
It's a Hemi.
It's
Everybody
great.
loves a Hemi. It's going to be very, very interesting, because all of this brought to us by New Zealand Building Removals. How do you think the chicken farmers enjoying this tonight, Ivan?
Oh, yeah, no, they'll be enjoying. I see them sitting up there in the corporate box. I'll go for a wander up there shortly and see them. There's a bit of a gap in between races before I have to come back down and throw my 10 cents worth in.
And just for those of you at home who are streaming this, it is cold here tonight. We've had a beautiful summer's day, and the easterly kicks in. Of course, we were almost on the by the ocean out here, and the easterlies kicked in, and it is cold if you're sitting in the crowd. So hopefully people are getting some warm food and some blankets and just keeping themselves bundled up and enjoying the stock car teams racing in the Super Saloons this evening.
So warm-up laps for Otago and Greymouth. Greymouth being in the green, and the Otago colours obviously in the blue and yellow.
Nathan Taylor decides to see what the rest of the team are doing by facing the wrong way straight off the start. So it is a bit of a baptism of fire for a couple of these drivers, like Fellow and Bolton. Although I'm sure
the team tactician is Ricky Bolton.
Oh, they're screwed. Oh, no. Yes, but the problem is you have to listen to all the stories of how good he was. No, it's fun and games. The good thing about it is there's no animosity between the tracks. This is pure teams racing. There's going to be a lot of guys telling everybody how good they were at the end of the night over a few beverages, I'm sure. And of course the Greymouth team, they were off the back of a win last week against the Crushers. Slightly different Crushers team, well, very slight. It was I think there's only one driver that carried over from the team that was in Greymouth. And I guess the other thing that I'd point out about that is, yes, the Crushers did, the Grizzlies did win, but I would say there's a few factors like clutch cables falling off and things like that from the other side that helped.
Yeah, exactly. So
you don't read it. I think Jason Moore and Barry Pajewski have both told me over time, you never win a team's race, the other team always loses it. And so, bear that in mind as you go racing. Mark Taylor's circulating low on the pole line in the 84 car.
Yeah, we're just checking mirrors and seeing where they are and where he can see them.
Yeah, it's a tactical game now.
You just slow up and get in their way.
And saying that, the car is pitched over heavily to the left, so just wondering if the tyres are all there. Yeah, no, it appears to be.
Hi, Malcolm Nardo from Suck It Up. We specialise in hydro excavation in the Canterbury region, safe dig methods around services. Also we do septic tank cleaning, drain cleaning, CCTV over your pipes. If you want an excellent service, please check us out on Facebook.
Suck It Up Limited, 740 Marston Road, Christchurch. Call them 24 hours a day on 027 588 8809.
What you think you do with your four-wheel drive. What you actually do with your four-wheel drive.
No matter what you do with your four-wheel drive, we've got the right tyre for you. So come on down to Mag and Turbo.
So the Greymouth team, who have we got there, Jared?
The Greymouth team consists of Daniel Martin in the 46 car, Dave Houston Jr.
Yep.
Just call him Dave Houston. His father's not here. Well, he might be here, but he's not racing. In the 74 car, the 187 of Taylor Forbes, the 91 of Sean Martin, and the 417 GM of Kurt Browning. A useless piece of information for you. This is truly useless. The 871 car of Taylor Forbes, that was the car that was originally destined to be Rodney Hearn's Superstock.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And it was built around the Anstis design of putting all the box on its
angles
on the side.
Yep.
and he got a hold of it and converted it to got it to stock car. Luke Fellows in the 131 car will be on the front row here next to Martin in the 46. We've got 2 parked over here, but for the Greymouth team got pole, they've decided to grid.
Yep.
Let's not faff around. Pockets in the 417. Kurt Browning, he will join in the second row. And it looks like Bolton is going to join in. And this puts the added pressure on the pit crew, because if they're not ready, these guys will be. And no, Bolton will go in behind the 417. And Houston will go in the 74. He had a blinder, of course, was part of the winning team last week, and then won 3 from 3 at Greymouth last week.
Yeah, he's been around a wee while now, Dave.
I think this is because the brother-in-law's been playing with the car.
Well, there you go. That's going to help.
Just a little bit. He's done a lot of setup work on that, as the 2 Taylors.
One of them's away again, the 73.
So I'm picking by the fact that Knight hasn't joined into this grid. He's going to be the last car on the track. That's assuming that the 84 car actually gets going. They've gone in head first.
They're looking underneath the rear end of it there.
Well, it definitely looked like it was pitching over that, under that left rear. But of course the pressure's now on. Nathan will join in on the back of the 46 car. In goes Daniel Martin in the 91. Sorry, Sean Martin. It's not going to be easy. I'm going to keep making that mistake.
So
anyway.
84 car gets going again.
84. So Knight is going to sit this one out.
Or is he?
Well,
what happens.
Might not be a choice in a minute. We'll see if the 84 car part.
84 is coming to the infield, so they may throw Knight out there, are they?
I got a funny feeling he's going to come in and go. No, he's going to communicate.
Yep, throwing Peter Knight by the look of it. The hand signals.
Yep. Oh, he's just been told go.
Go.
Now, to be fair, of all the cars on the track, this would be the one I would least like to be hit by. Not the front end looks intimidating, granted. Bear in mind, it is just a big, nasty, fairly modern flat chassis. And Peter Knight will join in the 27 car.
And Peter Knight's not scared to use that steel.
So when the car just looks that intimidating, why not? Right, we're in the starter's hands, Ivan. This is going to be fun. It is going to be Houston and Fellows off the front. We wait for it, we go, and we're on the brakes. So we now know the brakes work on all these cars. Houston Junior gets on the go, and he will get the Fellow. He wallops Fellow, and Peter Knight gets away with it. So it's going to be Knight running away back to Junior. Then we go back to Martin, and we're getting ugly in that pack. Bolton was getting a wallop there. He's getting some treatment there from the 91 car, but he gets away. Knight has got some clear air, but the 46 car has got Nathan Taylor all bound up in knots. They're trying to smack him. Fellows joins in. In fact, they've pushed the 46 car in, and if he turns around really quickly, this is going to be a nightmare for Knight, but I think Knight's going to get away with it. In fact, if anything, the Otago boys have lost track of where their race leader is. I think Houston Junior's about to get on the back wallop and follow him in, and he winds him to the wall. As Bolton's going to come through on Houston Junior. No, the battle is here for first. And so Bolton Junior goes through. Pockets is going to chase him, and he's had the big wind up. Martin's taken Fellows in the wall over there, so Bolton is in the race lead, and the 91 car's there, and he runs the race leader, plows into a back marker. That was Pockets has boxed himself in here, but he's going to hook into the 861 car, and they'll push him in backwards. Houston Junior gives his teammate a big, get out of my way, dude. I'm on the lead lap.
He's away again.
And and the 46 is on the back of Bolton Junior. He gets on the brakes. Wrong place to go into the brakes. He's going to take him in at one. Back off. Race leader is exposed at the moment. He has got Otago cars either side of him. It is Houston Junior in the lead. Through Enviro Waste. He's going to try and outrun the 131 car. No, he gives him a gentle tap on that back rear. Gets through. Whoa, he gets spun, and this is going to put it into Knight's hands. So, where's
Knight's over there.
Knight is over there. No, Houston Junior's facing the Koken sign. So it is the 861 that is actually second. No, Nathan Taylor. Taylor is a lap down.
Taylor's a lap down. So who's
74 is not rejoining. You can see the animation in the car. The 74 car has died. It is after this. Taylor's going to take over the lead back to Bolton. So first and second are Otago on the track. So, and you could see something's going on. And Nathan Taylor's kept a cool head. He has Dave Houston Jr., even though he's parked on the infield, is still second on the track as the 861.
Oh, here we go.
Straight into the back of the 46 car. If your mirrors don't work, see if someone is the race leader. Nathan Taylor got away with it. 861 of Bolton's going to have a crack here. He's going to go for the kill hit. Puts the 46 car in there. Interesting enough, Bolton's actually second on the track. He doesn't need it. Doesn't need to do this. He's not reading the race, but he does have a flat left front. The 46 car does have some damage. So we head through. It's going to be an interesting points haul here for the Otago team. Knight slips through, and the 91 car just gets a hold of him. Fellows follows him in. As 73, the 46 car can do nothing now. He's injured. Pockets in the 417 goes through. He's got Bolton behind him. He runs in hot on the back of the 131 car. He's going to go wide here. This could work. Fellow picks him up. Ricochets off the wall. Though 861 will go misfiring on the 131. Oh! Oh! We go in. The 91 car fouled. And I think
he just got fed.
If you
hot dog and chips.
If you were hungry down at turn 1, you got given a number 91. It was big, and white flag is out. The interesting thing, he didn't actually need to do that, but it is Taylor in the lead. He slowed up. Nathan Taylor's lost.
Oh, he's pulled out in front of him.
Oh, he got him too. He took the wheelgate and rolled him. He's over. Now, the interesting thing there was he backing up, or how did you read that one? Bolton slammed into the reversing car, and over he's gone.
Oh, dear. It's all going on in this one. The Christchurch guys will be standing at the pit gate watching this, loving it.
There's nothing like watching another team dismember itself. And it was just, if nothing else for Bolton, it blew the wheelgate off. So he was stuffed either way, but he finished it nicely by trying to get that little half pike and pirouette in.
Yep.
As we look through at the moment, we'll go check on Bolton. I think he'll be okay, other than maybe a little bit dizzy.
Like, it was one of those things where you could see young Jacob, he tried turning left out of it, and it caught the right rear wheelgate, and it just flicked him around the other way and sent him over.
It was one of those scenarios where it would have been better to have just hit him square with the front bumper. He backed in front of me, I ploughed into him.
Yep.
But Martin backing off the wall. Now, let's be fair, Martin's got no steering.
No.
I mean, if he had steering, he wouldn't have ended up where he was. And I'm pretty confident without being down there, that front corner's not where it should be. So he's just backed straight down the track. And just nowhere to go for Bolton.
And Bolton, Jacob looks all right in the car. He's been checked out by the medics.
How cool is that? First team's race.
First team's race.
You've got a couple of kill hits.
Obviously watching some of his uncle and dad's teams racing. Things that following in the footsteps. We'll just go in hard and heavy.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, let's be fair. The trick would have been to roll themselves. As we look at the replay, when they picked him up earlier, I thought it was all over. Houston Junior going through there, and we watch him give Martin the wee nudge to get him out of the way. But yeah, Knight, man, he's been slippery in that car tonight, hasn't he? Yeah, we know he's a good driver. As they will get the 861 off the track, fill the divot in, pick up the wheelgate bolt, because you could even see that fly out when he went over. And get him back into the infield. And really, we are about quarter of a lap. And I think there's 131 a fella. He's not had good clear head on him tonight. This was the incident that took Houston out.
He's lost the steering.
Ah.
You can see him. He's turning hard on the steering wheel there.
Just nothing.
Knight being taken in the 27.
I feel sorry for the wall.
And this race here is going to be a bit of an upset. Greymouth would have rated their chances here.
Yeah, and this is one of those things. You never win a team's race. The other team chooses to lose it for them. So it is an upset, but Otago are good at doing those.
Yep. Yeah, they've come up here and done it plenty of times.
They have. Yes. As we look to the start-finish line, they've got everything clear. Got to make sure the vehicles aren't going. We know who the race is. We'll call it when there's some noise. But look, that start, everybody was on the brakes. Lots of bumpers going in. And really, it took a lap or two for this race to settle down. We go back racing, and the checkered goes out for Nathan Taylor. He takes the win. The 417 will be in second, and I think Peter Knight will be third. As we look to the other side, the 46, and Martin will be the last car going on the track. Wow, that got a bit messy there, Ivan.
Got a bit ugly, which is good. It's we've had a starter and an entree. Let's start getting into some good stuff.
Yeah, well, that was a beautiful race there. Of course, hopefully Otago field the same team again because they were
good.
Great team.
Yeah, they were good. It's good. They've got some good gear. The Taylor boys have been around for a wee while, as is Peter Knight. So they've got some good depth in there, bringing these young fellas through.
I just think what we saw is a bit of clarity in the head. You know, I did wonder when Nathan Taylor slowed down in that last lap whether he was going to have a crack at Browning, not realising he was actually leading.
Yep. So Otago take the checkered flag.
So
young Jacob Bolton, yeah, he's fine. He's got about a 200-metre sprint to try and catch the team. Turn left, Jacob. Turn left. Go the other way.
Yeah.
Yep. Nah, we'll just give up on that. So,
as we watch them head round, give them a hand, race fans. It has been a little bit messy in this race, but that's what we came here to see. And we will be back very, very shortly with some mini stock racing.
Situated just 1.5 hours drive from Christchurch is Hanmer Springs, a small alpine village that has everything for the adventurer or for someone looking to relax. Stay a while and enjoy a bike ride through the numerous bush tracks, or relax in the famous hot pools. Take the whole family and let the kids take on the many attractions on offer. And to top off your stay, book now with Hanmer Holiday Homes, where there's a budget and accommodation to suit everyone. Call now.
Build it, make it, fix it, shift it, tow it, stow it, dig it, lift it, mow it, trim it, grind it, chip it. We hire it. Mix it, pour it, smooth it, finish it, saw it, clean it, nail it, polish it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it.
As our mini stocks head around, doing a little bit of track prepping, packing, whatever you want to call it. They're just looping around. Of course, they will probably get a lap or two as we wait for tow trucks to get back to the gate as they clean up after the Stockcar Teams race. As the mini stocks head round, leading on the front row of the grid there we have Gemma Hodgson, the 22. To the outside of her it is the 12 car of Emma McKissock. And if I stand to be corrected, I believe she's about a week and a half, 2 weeks off having her wedding, so congratulations to her. And with the second row of the grid, the 21 car of Matthew Feather on the inside. The outside it is the 7 car of Riley Evans, with the 46 car on the outside of Brooke McPherson. To the inside, the 81 car of Cole Anderson.
I should say a big thank you to Seascape Services for bringing us this mini stock race tonight.
As they wave the green, I wouldn't say that was a gridded start, but
No.
we went 5 wide down the front straight, funneling on in. Of course, the track reasonably smooth through the middle there. 22 car falling into the grasp of the pack. And out of all of that, the 12 car out in front battling with the 81 as we head down to EnviroWaste. The 32 of Berry looking up the inside, a wee bit greasy down low. As the 12 car in control, the 32 car no room up the inside, but we'll keep knocking on the door until it opens. As the 81 car slipping back, the 11 up the inside, 24 about to give him a bit of a hurry up. 24 being Jordan Balk. And we head down. We've done a lot of ripple stripping, a wee bit of infield for a few of those cars.
Yeah.
But somehow out of all of it, the battle at the front here, the 32 car, he's persistent. He's driven up the inside and just muscled his way past the 12 car. As we get a little bouncy in that mid-pack there as we head through 1 and 2. 24 car on the outside, the 11 on the outside, Bright on the 17 up the inside, the 7 of Evans looking to push through on the 11 car. Out in front though, the 32 car of Berry looking to run away with it. We go to the 12 back to the 81. You can just see the track is on the exit of turn 2, a little bit rough, and you can see a couple of them sort of getting a bit bobbly around. As we learnt from the last meeting, you don't want to go in there too hot and dig a wheel in, because you will go for a ride as the 24 car bounces out to the wall off EnviroWaste. As he comes back, gives the 5 car a bit of a slap of Connor Phillips. But it is the 32 car of Mitchell Berry past the Valley Cars Warehouse Grandstand, back to the 12 of McKissock, although that has now moved to the 81 car of Anderson. Really good battles midway through the pack, but out in front, the race leader not wasting any time on the back. Just wondering how many laps we have in this one. 5 on lap 6 at the moment. As the 22 and 27 might be gobbled up by our race leader in the next lap or so. Back to Anderson, who's got a fair bit of ground between him and the 12. And the 86 cars come through of Reese Marsden. And it is Reese. Glen has finally retired from the car at this point.
Believe that when I see it.
Yeah, I believe when I see it too. Hey, look, when we did the sponsorship for him, we said, hey, we'll sponsor the young fellas, but if an old guy gets back in it, well, I'm sorry, we've got to take it all back. White flag is on the 30, being waved to the 32 car. As a little bit rough mid-pack there, Feather just being pushed out to the wall by the 5 car and the 24. Our race leader past the Valley Cars Warehouse grandstand, well and truly out in front. It is the 32 of Mitchell Berry through Envirowaste. Back to the 81 of Anderson. And third place, I'll hold our breath for a second because we'll make sure they all come across the start-finish line on all the wheels. That'll be the 12 car of Emma McKissick. And that was our mini stocks race. Although we just feel like we're a lot further into the program all of a sudden because of that teams race.
Yeah, the teams races, they get involved, don't they? I just wonder if there might be a few mini stock drivers coming up to the tower to be lectured by the officials here.
Oh, yeah, no, there was filthy racing in there.
There was, really.
There was lots of contact, lots of people pushing and hitting and shoving and nudging. And I guess this is always going to be the head spin of mini stocks.
Yep.
They look kind of like a stock car. They call them a stock car. But you race to production rules. And, you know, you can see it whether it be youth or adult. If you have a background in contact race, you don't mind hitting. If you have a background in saloons or non-contact, you balk or you move over. You're hard on lines. It is throughout the country.
So saloons are back out on the track, and you can see them doing a few laps on the slightly wet track there that the water carts put some water down for. 5 is Danny Knight. I see he's an entry in the New Zealand Saloon title. The 8 car there, that's Don Hobbs. He's back out in the car that was last seen on the track as the 66 of Phil Smythe about 3 or 4 seasons ago. And good to see Don back. He was a Super Saloon driver many moons ago. Rode off more than a few cars here in Woodford, Glen. The 59 car from Dunedin, visitor tonight, Matt Green, the only Dunedin car in the field tonight. And great to see him here, sponsored by Dunedin City Motors. We've also got the 11 car, it's Brett McGlashan, of course, a regular competitor here. The 17 is Blair Lee. He's been pretty much the car to beat over this last few meetings here at Koken Woodford Wet.
He has stole Pete Dixon paint job.
Yes, it's very much a Pete Dixon looking car. We've also got the 71 of Willie Woodhouse, the perennial front runner in this grade. 433 Matt Peterson, he's had some good races here too, and he's kind of starting the back tonight, so he's going to be forced to be reckoned with. The 7 is Scott Woodhouse, the 117 is Billy Lee Woodhouse, and the other one I haven't mentioned, or the other 2 I haven't mentioned, Lee Morris in the 37, and the 28, Steve Peterson. And that's the only car that's not a true saloon here, but is really a super saloon, a detuned super saloon.
Well, to be fair, it's on steroids. It is a EA Falcon motor in that car, but it is, it's got some massive overlap in it, and it's pulling big numbers off triple carbs. But it stays, it's more historic.
More historic than its driver, probably, you might even say.
Well, it's got a long history. Oh, precious. So as we watch them head around.
And if you're watching the stream, we're going to go to a quick interview before the race begins. And if you're in the stadium, you just get to watch a bit more wheel packing.
Absolutely. Thanks, boys, for letting the have a big crossover before the saloon start here. But we do have Colin Cameron with the 107. Mate, that was a pretty good teams race there, and you just did enough to take out the win.
Yeah, that's right. We worked as a team. Chris was first teams race he's ever done, so yeah, he did his job. We worked together. Hadley was a bit unlucky, but it's life. We won. That's the main thing.
So tell me, did you have some sort of game plan before you went out there? Did you know what you guys were going to do, and everybody knew their role?
Yeah, absolutely. Jay gave us a bit of a talking to beforehand, told us what to do if things went wrong, so we could rectify it. So yeah, we stuck to our plan and did what we needed to do. So.
Okay, so any major damage to any of the cars, or you're all good?
Only Headley's cars, bit of welding and a steering box, which my wife's gone home to get because Headley left it at home. So yeah, apart from that, we're all good.
How are you going?
Well, not bad for an old fella.
Absolutely. Current South Island champ too, still, aren't you?
Yeah, for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is the one. Hey, well done, guys. You must be stoked. Team's obviously pretty relaxed. Doesn't seem to be too much mayhem going on here.
No, we're on the control at present. We'll see what happens after the next one, though. But yeah, that's all good.
Okay, good stuff. All right, we'll come back to those guys a little bit later on. But Tony and DeJared, that was a pretty awesome couple of teams races there. And I tell you what, there's that Otago team. I'm going to go down and talk to them. That was pretty impressive from those boys.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from them, Jace, because they put in pretty much a blinder of a performance there, I think, and well worth coming along to see, and well worth watching on the pit stream as well.
Oh, they'll be as pumped as a cyclist on the Tour de France. I mean, they will be juiced like you wouldn't believe. And
well, they're juiced in a slightly different way. Well, at least they used to be anyway, but we won't go into that. All right, so Saloons ready to thunder around Koken Woodford Glen. And let's see what these guys can do. Away we go, and Danny Knight in the 5 car gets a great start on the outside line and barrels into turn 1, well ahead of the 11 of McGlashan and the 59 visitor from Dunedin, Matt Green. Round the outside comes Billy Woodhouse in the 117 to take over 3rd place. Tucked in behind 37 is Lee Morris. 28, Steve Peterson gets a little bump in the back there from his son, Matt Peterson. And the 17 car, the Kiwi Auto Spares Blair Lee Lovelady chassis, is ominously looking quite quick there at the back and starting to make some inroads. Let's go front side again, past Value Cars Warehouse, Grandstand into Envirowaste turn. That's 3 and 4 here at Woodford Glen. Comes the 5 car, Danny Knight. Looking pretty good at the moment, although Brett McGlashan is only barely a car length behind in the 11 machine. Those two have cleared out a little bit. The 3rd place battle is a good one between the 59 of Green and Billy Woodhouse in the 117. And behind them, the pack is very, very tightly grouped. And we may see some action back there fairly soon, I think. Right at the back of the field, Don Hobbs in the 8 car, still getting to grips with that machine. So, back front side now we go. The 5 car of Danny Knight holding on to a lead from Brett McGlashan. These guys are about 6 or 7 car lengths ahead of Matt Green in 3rd place. We go back to an evolving battle, a developing story, if you like, between the 117 of Billy Woodhouse and the 7 of Scott Woodhouse. And Blair Lee in that 17 car is starting to make inroads into that position too. Ticking off pretty much a car a lap is Blair Lee. That machine is rapid. And I know he's entered for the New Zealand title too, so he'd be one to watch, I think. Out front, McGlashan has got ahead of Knight in the 5 car. You can see them running down the back straight there into Envirowaste turn. And it's really quite a good battle for the 2nd, 3rd and 4th place now as Danny Knight starts to fall back into the clutches of the 59, Matt Green from Dunedin. We've got plenty of side-by-side action further back there with Woodhouse, Scott Woodhouse and the Willie Woodhouse battling with the 17 of Blair Lee. And the 433 of Matt Peterson running in very hot into 3 and 4. The track coming to his car now, and he's starting to get some go forward too. So McGlashan still leads healthily, you'd have to say. 10, 12 car lengths from the 5 of Danny Knight, who's just got 3 or 4 car lengths on Matt Green. Oh, Knight's car's gone off big time. He's run out to the wall and he's just slowed right up. And that's allowed the whole field to get through underneath him. He's pulling to the infield, so Danny Knight's race is done. And that leaves McGlashan with a huge lead over the 2nd place car, which is now the 17, the Kiwi Auto Spares car of Blair Lee. White flag is waved now for McGlashan. Brett McGlashan in the 11 car, the Stoneleigh machine, and he's just got to bring it home, really. Blair Lee is probably the fastest car on the track at the moment, but the gap to the lead is just too great, and I don't think there'll be any difficulty for Brett McGlashan in the 11 car. There he goes, under the checkered flag, takes the win from 17, Blair Lee, and our visitor from Dunedin, 59, Matt Green, a well-earned 3rd place there.
Yeah, beautiful work there by Blair Lee. He just managed to find the gaps and get his way through. Just keep the go forward. And this is something we've seen with saloons in recent weeks. Is when you get boxed in, because the horsepower is so even and you don't have this big horsepower donkey under the pit, you've got to keep your momentum up. But you can get stuck in that when you get side by side and a couple of cars in front of you, and clearly just you even have to use the street stock skills to.
It's a question of using the lines on the track to, as you say, to keep your momentum going. Avoid having to brake too hard, avoid having to accelerate too hard, and just using those lines to make your way through the field elegantly, you might say. I bet Blair-Lee's never been called elegant before.
I believe we've got, so I can hear rattle guns going, so it's either Jason's tummy's making funny noises or he wants to say something down there.
Oh, okay. We'll cross to the absolute pits then.
We won't.
Hello?
Okay, sorry about that. I've got a trainee audio operator hasn't learnt quite to turn things down at the right time, which is a bit unfortunate. But here we go. We've got this man here went upside down, eh? That was a pretty awesome sort of a deal for you, but it's all worth it though, wasn't it? Because you actually came back and the whole team won it for you, so?
Oh, it's awesome to win the race. It was a bit of a misread on my part. I should have hit the car. But it was the last lap. I didn't want to wreck my car, so we didn't have too much to do. But you make mistakes, and as you do.
Absolutely. What's the plan? The car's all right? Is any major damage with it?
Oh, we threw a bit of oil out when she was laying on her side, blew a couple of wheels, and other than that, she's good to go.
Oh, heck. Well, I can see there's a fair bit of work going on in the background there, so obviously you must be ready to come out for that next one. They needed you. You did a lot of work for them.
Yeah, well, we got a boy that looks like he's blown a gearbox, so we're going to need all the cars we can get at this stage, so...
No extra drivers? That's it? What you got's what you got?
Oh, no, we got a 6th driver, Michael Harris, if we need one, but he's hoping that everyone stays healthy tonight and doesn't get majorly injured.
Good stuff. So who's the person with the blown gearbox?
Mark Taylor, I believe.
Oh, yeah, and he was pretty quick too, wasn't he?
Oh, he's always quick. Those Taylor boys have been doing it for a while.
Absolutely. Well, there we go. Hey, mate, good sponsors. These cars look awesome. It's good to see the Otago Outlaws here. Everybody's still trying to call them the Otago Cougars, but not quite. That's from years gone by, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, we're lacking a few cylinders to be called the Otago Cougars, but major thanks to Bolton Racing, Toko Trailers, Southern Paint, and Lister Helicopters. They supply all our fuel. Any of the other boys that I can't remember their names, but thanks to everyone involved.
What's the team? What's the plan for the next race? We won't say anything to anybody.
Oh, I can't tell you that. We're about to go and have a meeting in the bus after I'm finished talking to you, Jason.
Righto, mate. Well, we'll let you go. Well done, mate. Thanks for a bit of entertainment there, of course. Young Bolton that rolled the car there. And that was a rather interesting race too, wasn't it? You boys up in the stairs here.
Oh, indeed. But now we know why the Otago team goes so fast. It's because they use helicopter fuel in their cars.
Dear.
I mean, you'd think they'd go round and round if that was the case, but...
I don't want to burst your bubble.
Oh, okay.
I use helicopter fuel too, and I don't go very fast.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go.
As our street stocks are heading around, it is going to be their second race, and they get to unwind to the track. Well, they wind themselves up.
Well, they wind themselves up or they unwind the track. It's hard to know which. Perhaps it's both, actually.
The saloons, just watching some replays here, there was tight racing amongst those saloons. They did pretty well not to create any carnage for themselves, as this is a full field of street stocks, Tony.
And we talked about it before, didn't we? New Zealand title in Dunedin this year. Of course, the Beachlands track in Dunedin, the promoter there, the organiser of the New Zealand title, former street stock driver himself. So he'll know how to put on a good street stock title, that's for sure.
I'm getting the impression we're talking about that particular person way too much tonight. Anyway,
well, that's right.
And I guess one other thing just to take note, and we got asked to mention this for the crushers down the far end, down at the Enviro Waste End, we have a high provided there courtesy of Total Access, Make New Zealand owned, locally operated Total Access, your real access partner. And so they are looking after the Hits TV.
That's Total Access, not Excess.
Access, yeah.
Yeah, we do the excess, they do the access.
So they are helping us out tonight, and of course they are one of the sponsors of the Canterbury Crushers.
Indeed, and we thank all the sponsors of all the teams. You wouldn't believe how expensive teams racing is. Well, actually, having seen a couple of races, you probably can now. There's broken gear all over the place. There's travel, there's fuel, there's all sorts of accelerated wear and tear. So thanks to all the sponsors that get in behind teams. It's really appreciated.
Hi, Malcolm Nardo from Suck It Up. We specialise in hydro excavation in the Canterbury region, safe dig methods around services. Also we do septic tank cleaning, drain cleaning, CCTV of your pipes.
If you want an excellent service, please check us out on Facebook.
Suck It Up Limited, 740 Marston Road, Christchurch. Call them 24 hours a day on 027 588 8809.
Want mag wheels now? We've got 14-inch mag and tyre combos from only $8 a week, 15s from $10 a week, and 17s from only $12 a week. 15 stores nationwide, limited time, only at Mag and Turbo.
Alrighty, so our street stocks are lighting up on the track for their next race, brought to us by Graham Williamson X Factor Cars.
And it's the battle of the black paint jobs. We head away, Atchison and Leslie on the front row. The pack funnel on through. We won't call it for the first corner. We'll just see who survives as we head around through Enviro Aitchison gets up the inside of the 27 car, the 15 of Turner, and Schumacher in the 77 on the outside. And he's got the giant Toyota there looking on the back of Leslie. Gives a bit of a hurry up. We come onto the front straight. We're just about to. It is Aitchison in the lead. Back to the 77 Schumacher Turner. And Rod McSherry in the 62. Garthley in the 33 car. Brand new out of the box last meeting. And it is absolutely humming. BA Falcon. Don't have to do a lot to get the power out of these cars. You just got to get the handling right. And it is going. Of course, Dom head back in the real days of Speed Stop Racing when he had a Charger. But Aitchison in the 36 car, having one of the best runs he's ever had here. Normally you find the black 62 firmly attached to it. As Garthy just caught a rut then. I think he's taken out that outside tyre, or has it? No, he's managed to keep on. As Aitchison out in front, he fires it in, but Garthy's got a good run. He gives him the hurry up, and Garthy gets flicked by Leslie. Manages to save it. Aitchison's got something's gone wrong with the 36 car. Yep. Garthy saved it, but he has lost several spots. 4-3-3 back on his tail like he was in the last race. It is. McSherry steps way out of shape in the 62. It is Schumacher leading us. He's going to pile up down there with, surprisingly enough, Simon Bland. And the 44 car by the looks of it. This is the fun bit. The 44 car was refereed by Simon Bland last week. Do you have a crack at the referee when you get a chance? Anyway, it is a bunched up grid here. The 82 car giving a nudge out of the way by the 77. The 33 into the 27, so they're hooking bumpers. And we head back around Schumacher, and Leslie gets put around. So Garthy gets through into second, but he's a long way off. Rob McSherry in the 62 car, he's storming. As Aitchison limping through there. Race leader 77, back to the 33. 62, 4-3-3 and 28. Flames shoot out the back of the 33 car. And if you look at it, there's a very different angle on that car, Tony. Just the back end of it is so much higher. So when you do hit it, you feel like you're going all the way through to the driver. But our race leader, it is the 77 car across the start-finish line. Roy Schumacher back to Garthley. We've got the 44 car parked on the wall down at the race to turn 4.
Two locked together on the start-finish there.
82 and 26 there, so the 26 car is Cody Pedley. There's the 25 car Monk gets hurried up here by the 31. And this is where the race leader's at risk of being pushed into, and he does, he collects him. Oh, the race leader just got collected, and Garthley gets through.
Gets past him.
As McSherry trying to push his way through on Simon Bland. Peterson's joining in, Schumacher's trying to get back round. White flags out, this is going to be a hectic last lap. Simon Bland's the contributing factor here. Garthley had it. McSherry's got through now. Doobie Hook and Schumacher just trying to push the 33 wide. And Schumacher, I think the 62 car is going to have the run here down to 2, and gets given the hurry up there by the 31 of Bland, but it will be the 62 of Rob McSherry back to Schumacher.
What an awesome last lap that was. That was really cool.
It was actually well done. I'd say the interesting part out of all of that is the two jappers on the track managed to come through and clean up all the Falcons. Anyway. We've got cars that are finishing after the race. Somehow Aitchison ended up going into the wall. I know that bit of wall, it's not nice. Anyway, Tony, thoughts?
What should I say? Other than that was a really entertaining race, and I don't know how on earth at home, if you're watching the live stream, you managed to follow it all, but I can tell you that the last couple of laps where Simon Bland suddenly found himself right in front of the leading pack of cars, and they all had to try and work out how to get past him, round him, hit him, which is probably not an easy thing to do, being Simon Bland. And
Simon Bland being Simon Bland would have just gentlemanly got out of the way and not had any involvement with the race. Oh, hang on.
No, you're not talking about the Simon Bland, we know. You know, that really made it. I think there should be a new rule in racing at Woodford Glen that when Simon Bland's racing, we should make sure that he's in front of the leading cars for as much of the race as possible. I'm sure he'd agree. I'm sure he loves it.
Like to be
no, it was really cool. Good racing, and but well done to Rob McSherry in the 62 car. That car is quick. It set the fastest lap of the race, 20.8 seconds. There were a couple of other cars that got under the 21-second mark as well. Schumacher in the 77, Garth in the 33. But it was one hell of a race. It just goes to show why street stock racing here in the South Island is so much fun, and why everyone loves it so much. Well, I do.
So what we can tell you is we'd have the next 2 stock car races.
Yes.
All lined up. So the first race is going to be Christchurch versus Greymouth. Christchurch has pole.
All right. Cool.
The second race will be Otago versus the Barbarians.
Yeah.
Otago has pole.
Okay.
Situated just 1.5 hours drive from Christchurch is Hanmer Springs, a small alpine village that has everything for the adventurer or for someone looking to relax. Stay a while and enjoy a bike ride through the numerous bush tracks, or relax in the famous hot pools. Take the whole family and let the kids take on the many attractions on offer. And to top off your stay, book now with Hanmer Holiday Homes, where there's a budget and accommodation to suit everyone. Call now.
The St. Nicholas is a familiar sight around Bluff as she steams out to capture Can-Do Fishing's famous Bluff Kinner. Once caught, the Kinner is brought back to the purpose-built factory in Bluff where it is processed, packed and shipped fresh to you. But that's not all that Can-Do Fishing can do for you. Try some of their green-boned fish or delicious power products and you will soon see why seafood from the Bluff is world famous. So head to your local fish market or supermarket and ask for Can-Do Fishing Kinner, fish or power. Can-Do Fishing, there's nothing we can't do for you.
So out on the track, who we got out there? 58 Fairview Fiberglass, that's Richie Taylor. Almost won the first heat, but then didn't. 891, Chris Cowling driving the Josh Bolton car tonight. A little quiet in that first heat, but he will have made a few changes, I suspect, to the setup of that car, and it looks like he's off the front row here, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times he can put in.
To be fair, when you're guest driving a car, you do one of two things. You drive it respectfully and give it back to the owner in one piece, or you do what we have certainly seen here on occasion. You jump in and you tell them, I'll show you how to drive it, and end up on your roof. I get the impression that with any of the Cowling family members, you're likely to get a car back in one piece.
I think so. I think so.
There's a few other people.
He's got the skills. Alongside him, the 19, the Suck It Up machine of Malcolm Nartai. Didn't finish the first heat. He'll be desperately disappointed about that, and he will definitely want to bank maximum points off the front row of this heat. So it's going to be a good battle between that 891 and 19. Tucked in on the second row, Ian Burson in the 21 was very strong in the first heat, always very strong here at Koken Woodford Glen, and he's got the 861 of Ricky Bolton on the outside of him. He's having a pretty stellar couple of years in Super Saloons. He seems to have found a new groove with that new chassis he's got, and boy oh boy, that car's going well. 871, of course, Luke Keegan still coming to grips with that car. He's got the 58 Richie Taylor there, 88 Dave Manera behind him. 27 Trevor Elliott in that new car, looking absolutely resplendent there. The 34 Ray Stewart had a good win down in Cromwell, I think recently I saw, so he's definitely on good form. 817 Jackson Lovelady, he had an excellent meeting recently too. I think that was at Nelson last week, was it, or week before? He raced up there and got some good results. And at the back of the field, 73 Mark Fluffy Grocott.
About a 45-year age split between the youngest and the oldest drivers on the track.
Yeah, interesting, eh? Some of them are really old. No, I was baiting you there for Jared, but there we go.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're running into Enviroways turn now. They're about to come onto the front straight. We're going to go green. We're racing. And Malcolm Nartai mashes the pedal to the floor in a way that only he can and takes the lead in the race. He runs a little wide though, and Cowling on the inside trying to stay with him, can't manage it. Burson's got the jump on Ricky Bolton, and he's running the high line very fast into turn 3 there too, and he's looking to make the pass on Cowling. He gets it done, 2 down the front straight, and he's into second place. Nartai better watch what's going on, because round the outside here comes a Nelson Hurricane. Oh boy, Ian Burson gets to the front inside a lap and a half, and he's away and laughing, I think. Second place, Malcolm Nartai, wondering what's going on, regathering his thoughts there. He's got Cowling tucked in behind him, Ricky Bolton right on the tail of the 891 car. Side by side further back, Richie Taylor in the 58 and the 871 of Keegan. We go back to Elliott and then Jackson Lovelady. Good battle there between Fluffy and 34 of Ray Stewart, and Namira in the 88 car now at the back of the field. So that's 3 laps completed, and Ian Burson already has a lead the length of the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand, and it's growing as the race progresses. The battle is the one to watch is for second place. Malcolm Nartai in the 19 car just holding out Chris Cowling in the 891. That 891 running super well now. You have to say Cowling's definitely getting that car sorted, getting to grips with it. 861 Ricky Bolton keeping an eye on those two. If either of them make a mistake, he's right there to snaffle a place. And Richie Taylor in the 58 car seems to have a bit more go forward than he did in that first heat. 871 Keegan, he's running a higher line. Of course, he used to run that modified of his right out near the wall, and he's doing exactly the same with the Super Saloon. Not quite as quick as he was in the modified though, not surprisingly. More weight, more body. 27 Trevor Elliott can't really make any impression on those cars in front. Jackson Lovelady is also running quite high on the track and bouncing around a little bit in the loose stuff. Ray Stewart can't make much progress. Fluffy Rocott and Dave Manera at the back of the pack. So completing another lap, it's the 21N from Nelson, Ian Burson. And he's got pretty much the length of the back straight over the second place, Chris Cowling, who in turn has about 10 car lengths over Malcolm Nartai, who's right on just in front of the 861, Ricky Bolton. We've got Richie Taylor coming around the outside and starting to get involved in this battle for third place. Of course, Keegan is in the mix there as well, and 27 of Elliott starting to come in too. So you get the feeling the battle for third place is the one that we need to watch now. Nartai, the car just sledging a little bit as he comes out of turn 4. Can't quite get the go forward he had in the early laps. You get the feeling that the track's slicking off a little bit, not suiting that 19 car quite so well. 861 Ricky Bolton's holding off Richie Taylor at the moment, and still Keegan persisting with that high line and gradually getting quicker. Lovelady's pulled to the infield. Something's wrong with that car, I'm not sure what. We go back to that battle for third place because Ian Burson is gone for all money. He's just squirting the dirt out of turn 4, crosses the start finish now. We all wait for a little bit, and there's the second place car of Cowling, and now the battle for third between Nartai, who's holding off Ricky Bolton, and Richie Taylor. Ricky Bolton starting to get a little bit racy. They're trying to find a way past Nartai. Of course, if it was the old super stock days, he just bumped him out the way, but this isn't a contact grade. He's got to be a little bit more careful. Nartai keeping that car very much in the middle of the track, doing everything he can to make it impossible for Bolton to sneak up the inside either turn 2 or turn 4, or get round the outside in turns 1 and 3. Tucked in behind those two, Richie Taylor can't seem to make any impact on them, and the 27 of Elliott has now come to join in with Keegan in the battle for 6th and 7th place. So out front, taking the white flag, last lap territory for Ian Burson in the 21 machine. Second place, well and truly sorted out, it's Chris Cowling. But what's going to happen for third? That's where we want to see what's going on. Malcolm Nartai still holding off. 861 Ricky Bolton. But Bolton's so close. Will he make a lunge in the last few turns? Checker flag goes for Burson. Second place goes to Cowling. Who's going to pick that third place? It's going to be Nartai in the 19 car. Well done, Malcolm. Well earned.
Yeah, Burson just disappeared in that one. He had an absolute blinder, pulling 16.8 in that first, or lap 2. Everybody else was in the 17s, so he was about half a second faster than everyone in that early first laps. Then once he got out in front, he just cruised home. Brought the car home with the least amount of wear and tear on it. Cowling got some clear air, didn't do rocket fast laps, just consistent laps, and held that track position. Interesting, you said about super stocks once upon a time, Ricky would have given Malcolm back up. in the old days, Ricky wouldn't have caught Malcolm.
No,
So
true.
It's
Very
a bit
true.
different in this grade now. But certainly Burson there taking away. Now he's top on points. 26 points out of 2 races. The next highest is 19 points with Cowling and Elliott. So really now if Burson can finish the final race, really we are talking about who's going to get second and third. But we know how Speedway plays. It's a cruel hand of cards until you get one more race to go to find out who is going to be the 2020 Canterbury Champs, courtesy of New Zealand Building Removal. And Ian Burson can take the cheeky play around this time and get stolen from him. And of course, if you take a note, if you look at the infield, no one's in the infield.
No,
Only
that's
one
right.
car didn't start. We didn't see the 86 come out. But no, that was a green to checkered.
Yep,
Keep
15
going.
laps of pure racing. Good stuff. So there he is, going around with his checkered flag. Give him a round of applause if you're here in the stadium. In fact, if you're at home, give him a round of applause, because that was a good drive. Bit of a replay coming through, courtesy of Koken Tools on the stream there. You can see the spinning car, the 817 of Jackson Lovelady. That kind of ruined his race, that. But no doubt about that race. That race was not ruined. Ian Burson, sponsored by Debbie the Webster, in-house, Tates, and various others. Got great sponsors, great car, great driver.
Build it, make it, fix it, shift it, tow it, stow it, dig it, lift it, mow it, trim it, grind it, chip it. We hire it. Mix it, pour it, smooth it, finish it, saw it, clean it, nail it, polish it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it.
What you think you do with your four-wheel drive. What you actually do with your four-wheel drive. No matter what you do with your four-wheel drive, we've got the right tyre for you. So come on down to Mag and Turbo.
As our mini stocks you, we're going to break back in the middle of there as we give in the green. It is the 22 somewhere on the infield out of all of that. The 11 cars out in front having a battle here with the 86 of Marsden. We head past the Valley Cars Warehouse Grandstand. We go back to Phillips and the 195 of Adams. Looking through the pack, seeing who's making the moves. The 81 car's on that outside line looking to move around the midway through the pack, but it is the 11 car, the Stone Lane machine of Jordan Paratone. Back to Reese Marsden. The 5 car of Phillips starts bouncing and allows Caleb Adam to duck up the inside. The 24 of Jordan Bork running in fourth at the moment. Back to the 44 of Oliver Sutton. Marsden up the inside of the 11 car. Puts the nose up. He's holding it there. He's plenty of room between. Oh, they both seem somehow they both seem to find each other as they entered the corner. But the 86 car gets through these 2 cars, opening up a gap on the 5. As 86 heads down into Enviro Waste. Comes through back to the 11. We've got Caleb Adams got his hands full here. 24 is there, the 44 of Sutton and Anderson in the 81 car weaving his way through. That 81 car just has the extra set of legs over everyone else. And he is looking on that high line. Out in front it is Marsden back to the 11 car of Paratino. And we've got collisions and all sorts going on there. The 24 car clipped the back of the 195. Out of all of this, the Anderson car just going to run around the outside of everybody. Sutton's up the inside of the 195. The 11 car looking now to have a go at Marsden again. Tries to take it out wide and scoop down into the corner. Unfortunately, just can't carry that momentum through on the 86, and the 24 car puts the 44 round. Bright manages to bounce into that as well. Out of all of this, the battle on the front, it is Reese Marsden back to the 11 of Jordan Lee Paratone, and then Cole Anderson in the 81 car. You sense that Anderson's car's got the power and the legs to get to the front. It's just whether or not he's going to run out of laps to do it.
And of course, it's 2 former youth mini stock competitors there battling out for the lead in this race.
3,
3,
4,
Cole,
5,
yep.
6,
Mitchell
Actually,
Berry as well.
First 6 cars are all ex-youth mini stock.
Yep.
And as they come through, the 86 car coming through on the 8 car of James McKenzie. The 11 car gets up the inside, gives them a bit of a bumper into that left wheel gate as Anderson's on that outside line. So 86 of Maurice Marsden. He's going to be in for some treatment as they head past the Valley Cars Warehouse Grandstand. Anderson dumps the inside. He's going to collect the 11 car on the way through because Paratini opened the door. And Marsden will eke home on this one to take away the win. I think that's his first race win.
Good drive too, I have to say. He soaked up the pressure lap after lap and came away with the win. A great last corner pass by the 81 car there too.
Yeah, it was the 81 car. The 11 car was going out doing the whole ride, the wall turn in. Anderson just picked it, dropped, committed to it, and
pulled it off.
If the 11 car had decided he was going to come through, it was going to be a collision. So the 86 car there taking away the race win. So Reece Marsden.
Yeah, fantastic result for him. Fastest lap of 22.2. Wasn't the quickest out there. That was Jordan Lee Paratini. He did a 21.70, but
it's nice to have a Marsden taking a cheeky flag and not being caught up the town by the referee.
Oh, well, there we go. Where are you, Glenn? No, never mind. Okay. So that was Mini Stocks, brought to us by Whenua Construction. They are asphalt specialists. So if you need asphalting done, Whenua Construction, they're the ones to talk to. Tell them you heard about them here at Woodford Glen Speedway.
So the Greymouth team are in the chute behind them.
Stockcar team's about to erupt onto the track again.
As I'm just having a look out the window here, and you probably can't, well, something correct, but certainly you at home won't be able to. Hadley Smith has gridded with the Greymouth Grizzlies. And so it's almost like he's got confused. They put the gearbox in, he's gone, I'm going to go join my team. Oh, hang on a second, I'm red, not green. So this is going to be a very interesting teams race coming out.
Big business or small business, we've got mobile solutions to give any size business an edge. Our regionally based account managers can scope your business and deliver to your evolving needs. Take control of your team's business mobiles with individual plans or shared data pools, along with solutions that offer increased control over device and data security and the flexibility to easily manage your team's mobiles and apps. Whatever your business, whatever your size, talk to your Spark customer lead or business hub today.
It's action for the whole family. With 23 tracks around New Zealand, there is no better way to spend your weekends than at a Speedway New Zealand track.
Here they come to the start-finish line again.
There's something for the whole family. Sprint cars, saloons, stock cars, sidecars, midgets, and much, much more. Pack up the family and make a trip to adrenaline-filled, action-packed bashes and crashes that only Speedway can deliver. Visit www.speedway.co.nz to find out the track nearest to you. Speedway, it's our summer thing.
So called the herder.
Called the herder.
Yes, that means for us that means it's a 3-minute bell.
Yeah, they lost the referendum.
Yeah. For other people, that means completely different things. As we wait for a couple of minutes, we'll see what they're doing. They're doing something with the front end.
Front end.
Just trying to look here as we watch the footage here, courtesy of Fitz. It looks like it's a steering box or something, which could be the same issue that he had in the previous race.
Yeah, exactly.
George Watson there leaning on the front of the car. Keep it steady there, boy. As they are well under the chin. They've got an axle stand under, so it's all
that's good.
Maybe
they were running out of time. It looks like they're just tightening something up, so they may have been working on it in the pits and didn't quite get there. So they've.
Well, they're awfully prepared to know exactly what to do, so you'd have to assume that. Yeah.
Is that Alex Bright down there as well, helping them out? He's a super stock driver out of Nelson.
Yeah. Quietly crewing for the 151 car tonight too. I also know that. Oh no, there's actually a fairly good camaraderie between these teams. This isn't about demolishing teams, it's actually about building these teams up. So, because the best thing we can do for stock car teams racing is bring that darn championship to the South Island and make those North Islanders who think it's really easy to cross the water for us each year to come down here and try and take it back.
Exactly.
And if you're at home in the North Island, listen to that and I'll wound you up good. Yes, because it is, if you think about it, even from the super stock teams, we have a centralised venue, but there's still the same ferry crossing to get there every year. the stock car teams event, you win it, you bring it home. That would be one of the best things to happen to one of these clubs, whether it's us, Greymouth or Otago. Although I don't know if Greymouth are a team this year. I think we got a big waft of confidence after last weekend.
Yeah, right. So they're still working on the 74 car down there.
Oh, we've got Belly. We'll go back to look at the cars on the infield. And there's a little bit of chat going on there. So we must have lost Sean Martin out of the last race.
Last one, Greymouth are down.
187 of Taylor Forbes joins in. Now watch this man, he is a big hitter. And don't get me wrong, he'll hurt himself as much as he will anyone else, but he is a big hitter. And Husty will join in the last car in with the tank beside him of Chris Wildley. Sitting this one out, it is the 56 of Arwa Johns. Take a deep breath, Canterbury fans. Let's go racing. We're in the starter's hands and we're away. The 46 launches over the front and the 151 gets away. 187 into him. They go through the grass. Back at Chris Wildley gets over to the race lead. And the 687 on the brakes has Husty all over him. Colin Cameron taken to the wall. Wade Sweeting, he's trying to decide now. Has Colin given him enough space? So Houston giving himself a gap here, but he's going to close this gap up. Will the tank be able to shoot the gap? He does. He gets it. And he gets drilled. But Wildley gets on it. In comes the bomb from Forbes. He gets on the brakes and he takes him to the wall. So Chris Wildley, he's over.
How it can all go wrong so quick.
Yep, he did what he could do. He backed out of it. If he'd guessed it, he was going to go over faster. But just a beautiful job there from the 187. And to be fair, I thought that Forbes was going to come in and do the big launch over the side panel and put himself into the wall as well.
So he got put off song by Houston. Just turned right, gave himself enough room and turned right. And upset him and he got going again. But it gave time for his clubmate to come through and poke him up the wall.
So Colin Cameron took the big shot at the 417 car and just got picked up by the 46 of Martin. They've parked themselves in there. Now, I'm just wondering if Colin didn't go in hard,
so
here's the swipe. It was just a clip and enough to unsettle the car. All the weight's on the left-hand side. And once that wheel dug in at the front, it was just a gentle over. And Sweeting knows what's happened. He's seen it. It was he just climbed. In fact, I'd actually say that we probably lost a shock out of that one there. Oh no,
no,
just watching the video.
Still going, but it was
Husty
this one here where he comes in on the replay.
And to be fair to Forbes, he got that front corner of the bumper right into the wheel.
Yep.
So actually, if you look at it, I'd say he took the wheel out before the car went over. Oh, and they've got to roll onto its roof and roll it back over. So let's make sure the body's wrecked before we tip it over. Here we go. Back into the starter's hands. We just wait for the tractor to stop. And we are racing once again. So Hadley Smith there, he's into the 417 car. And he's held him into the wall. He was our race leader. No, Taylor Forbes is now our race leader after all this. As the 417 slams into the back of the 687. And Taylor Forbes ran. He's just getting fed in there by the 151. Used an interesting amount of grass to avoid that one. As the front end of this, and the 151, it is making some horrible noises. He got into the Houston car. Ooh. But Sweeting is our race leader. And I don't know if he knows it. He's on lap 3. Taylor Forbes back to Kurt Brown.
Sounds like it's on 4.5.
Yeah, but he's got Hadley Smith to do some donkey work here. So Hadley do the donkey and pull the load. He has got Taylor Forbes who's about to come through, and is he going to get him?
He's unsure.
He didn't come in at pace, and Kurt Browning's going to come in and whoa! Hadley hit the brakes and Kirk overshot him. He took the.
But this has just opened up the gap for Wade.
Yeah, lap 5. Everybody's probably ignoring Wade purely because the car sounds like a Massey Ferguson. In fact, Davey Brown on the infield sounds a whole lot healthier. Sweeting is going to be in a struggle here. Can he outrun? No, he's going to hit Houston. He's going to hit him in that corner. And he pushes him wide, slips through, and he's got to get him. He's got to get Hadley between him and something's not good with the.
So we're down to 2 on 2, aren't we?
Well,
we've lost.
We lost the Taylor Forbes.
Yep.
We're on lap 7, about to clip that down. Brakes in some gear. As Hadley Smith is just
parking it and they're not sure where to go.
He's got a couple of big green hemorrhoids. One goes through on him. And Hadley's decided to wind it up on Kurt Browning, and this might not be good for the 417.
He's going to slow up. He's just...
He take the hit. And Hadley will just
brake.
push him wide.
Yeah.
So Sweeting is on lap 8.
Will Sweeting
on
be able to get past Houston? Here we go. Sweeting around the outside. No, we'll just tube him.
Just tube him. He knows he hasn't got the power to outrun him, so he'll just push him. He knows that Houston's got no steering, so once he pushes him wide at the corner, Houston can't turn down. Yep. He can't turn down.
So he'll come round, white flag.
Oh, we go pushing through the infield over the far side. Sweeting knows it. Houston can't turn at the corners, and that's his problem, and he's going to put himself in. And this is the space. As the 417's push to the infield, it'll be Sweeting past the Valley Cars Warehouse Grandstand. Houston can't turn, and the only car on the track, it is the young and magnificent 151 Wade Sweeting taking home the race win, and hopefully he finds a couple of cylinders.
And Houston's done some damage to the right front of his, and now the 46 car gets going.
Yeah, I'd say at a pick, the 46 car was hooked into the bumper. We have gone yellow, so the race is done.
Race is done.
And yeah, I'd say the 46 car just hooked in behind Cameron's bumper.
So we had 3 finishes. Christchurch taking out the win, Greymouth second, and Canterbury third.
It was a win. It was an ugly win, but it was a win nonetheless. Fastest lap time, not that it actually matters, 21.2664. I think that we could have put a mini stock out there that would have beaten that one.
Well, Browning did a 20.74 on lap 4 there.
I'm picking he had someone chasing him.
As you do. So the Canterbury Crushers pick up a second win. Will it give them enough points to get in to the semi-finals? Because what is it? The winner versus the loser of each of the groups or something like that?
It's good. Well, Canterbury's gone through to the final. 2 wins get you to the bank.
Yep.
It's fair to say that the 53 car will be getting some realignment of its wing.
Yep. That's not hard though. It's just a bit of flat panel.
Yeah.
Stand it back up again.
And but yeah, some beautiful tactics. Hadley Smith really did a lot of work in that race. His work rate was very high. Interesting here, just watching on the video there, the 187 car, they're trying to get off the 151. How Wade stayed on the track is a miracle.
And to be fair, the 151 pulled out of it, as you saw there in the replay. You watch him as they go in there, he pulls away.
He didn't, but he also realised, and I guess this is one of the things you've got to remember where you are on the track.
Yep.
Wade knew he was leading. He just had to get the guy out of the way. But yeah, interesting race. Colin Cameron's car being towed in, so hopefully nothing too major. Worst case scenario, they'll pull the steering box out of Hadley's car.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought there'd be too much damage to Colin's car. Same as Chris's car, superficial, goes upside down, put it back on its wheels, let the oil drain back down to the bottom, fire it up, and away we go.
There's some very happy drivers there. And because it does give you that boost, that confidence you need heading towards what your end goal is the end goal is often the New Zealand Stockcar Teams title.
Well, exactly, and this is, it's good fast for it, you know, like these guys, unless you travel to the North Island, those guys up there get regular teams racing. It's good that we can get 4 teams here, 2 teams race.
To be fair, most championships are there are a teams race up there when you look at just how many from each club will travel.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but it gets a bit more interesting now. 5 Barbarians roll out the pit gate.
This will be actually quite a good one. Barbarians against Otago.
The Barbarians have nothing to lose.
No.
Otago has everything to lose in this one. They had a great first run, and I believe Otago has pole for this.
Hi, welcome to X Factor Cars, Southland's multi-award winning pre-owned dealership. Stockists of classic collectibles, V8s, family vehicles, trade vehicles, and everything in between. Thinking American or Aussie muscle, family vehicle or custom? Think X Factor Cars.
How we going? Smoker time. No, I've been. I have a beer, mate. Still working. Raspberry and Coke for me, thank you, Lauren. Busy, eh? All right, mate. I'll catch you up later on. Good to see you. Chill. Oh, second flat tyre in 2 days. Where's my phone? Get wholesale tyres in Whakatane.
Need truck tyres? Wholesale tyres. Good tyres, better prices, great people.
So we go back to McNally. On that side of him is the second tailor of Nathan, the 131 fellow, Rico the wrecker on the outside. Then we go back to Mark Senior, the outside of him, Bolton Jr. It is, yeah, we're a bit snug down. If you look at our clerk at the course, he's trying to feed his way between the cars. Yep, not going to run away anymore. We're going to get on the X Factor machine, get out of the way. We're in the starter's hands. All the vehicles are clear, and we are racing.
We're braking.
We've got brakes, yeah. Mark Nichols Senior, he decided to get on the brake. Rico Gray hooks on the back of Taylor, but he's on the front he's on the back of Nichols, so they're just pushing the 13 car out. Rico's onto the back of the 73 car. Are we going to run down? How hot can we run down to the far end? Bolton off the back has managed to get through.
There's Rico.
Rico's onto the Nathan Taylor. He fires him in, and he backed out of it. But look at Taylor. Well, no, Taylor's just going to put the foot down. He's going to outrun him. Fellows is tied up with Nichols Senior on the back straight. We've got a couple of waiting cars. Jaden Nichols gets into the back of Mark Taylor. Wrong thing to do. You should get free and goes for that 861. As
Rico dives misses
through.
everything.
He's going to come out on the other side of the track. Taylor picked that one beautifully, and he's managed to outrun Senior. So we've got a Bolton out in front, back to Nathan Taylor. And next on the track is going to be the 36 car of McNally.
He's coming in hot.
He's coming. He got Taylor, and he's flipped him. To be fair.
It was full song tubing.
Yep, wrong place to wait, to be fair. Mind you, to be fair, he saw him and he did sort of, yeah, well, we'll watch the, hopefully we've got the replay on that. That was massive. And I guess that's the Vaughan Fairburn School of Blocking. It's been followed into that one. It was a big hit.
Yeah, we did.
It was.
That was absolutely huge. McNally, though, had to cheat.
He was committed. He was going and he wasn't buttoning off, and the brakes were Taylor.
Well, yeah, and to be fair to Taylor, I think he saw it coming and he tried to avoid it. Unfortunately,
Taylor's okay. They're checking his car out.
As we watch the replay here, they go line astern. McNally's lined him up halfway down the straight. Taylor goes to the pole line, gets walloped, and it's actually runs over his own teammate, which has caused it. And Fellow's taken a wallop up the tube too from McNally. The red light's already on and Taylor's pirouetting in the air. So the damage on the back of the 131 car is actually from Taylor. Taylor was looking in the mirrors. He knew that was coming. There was nothing he could do either. McNally just came in so fast. And as we watched the replay, the brutal impact of it picked the front wheels up, and he actually he flew over the ripple strip into the back of Fellows. Even the infield officials, they're sucking a bit of air in their faces when they watched it happen. Unfortunately, those of you in the stadium won't get to see quite the vision we got to see of the infield crew's faces as that happened, but that was fast. And to be fair, if McNally hadn't have hit him, McNally was going to mail a package through the corporate boxes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, he was definitely full-on committed. And, yep.
So the 13...
Going slow into the corner is not the ideal spot. You want to try and be... But to be fair to Taylor, he had another Targo car just in front of him.
So to be fair, though, we have... Yeah, they're going to take the 84 car off on the tractor. Big chunks of mud in the wheel. I can tell you from experience, that's a mongrel to clean up. A little bit of fiberglassing and sign writing to be done on that car, but I'm sure nothing that race tape can't. Oh, no, we'll know a lot of race tape is going to fix that car.
It's Mark's. He's fine. He's moving around in the car.
Yeah, he knows what's happened.
Yeah. The budgie might be whistling a wee bit inside the helmet, but
well, yeah.
he'll get checked out by the medics after this, as all of the teams have to.
It's all what the belt did to the smuggler, though. That's the problem. Anyway, is a race leader. We wait till we go racing. It is. We wait to see if everything's clear. Wait to see. They're just waiting to go, and the flags are in, so just getting Taylor parked. Yep, we go racing against the race leader. It is Bolton down at turn 4 back to Nathan Taylor. McNally is hooked on the back of Fellows as Rico comes through, and Rico just dead hits the 131 car, and has it taken both of them out? And Rico rejoins Fellows. Looks like he's going. Oh, Nathan Taylor taken in by the 13 car. And Rico can get a sniff of a wounded car here. Look at this. Watch the 222 coming for the kamikaze. And he just about missed him. He was almost parked and he just about missed him. Anyway, that is down to Jacob Bolton is our race leader.
131. He's got McNally on his tail again.
And he's got McNally to contend with. McNally's...
race leaders over the back straight there.
McNally knows it too, and he's going to nail Bolton here. Oh, and he puts himself round. And oh, how does this happen? Bolton, if he's got a clear head, will get round.
He's away again.
He is.
These Otago guys are taking a pumbling, but they're still going.
They absolutely are. Bolton is in the lead.
Right rear tyre's just gone on him by the looks of it.
Oh, and McNally is. We are on lap 5. This is lap 6. These two are going to meet each other at some point in the next couple of laps. It is going to happen. The 13 car of Nickel. I said limping already. He's got 4 wheels, and McNally's coming. Bolton knows it. Bolton's trying to find places on the track not to be found. He uses everything, including the ripple strip. McNally is going to get up them, but McNally is spinning himself every time he hits him. So Fellows, and what happens here? They are on the. McNally takes the lead. So McNally is our race leader, and he knows it. I think he knows it. He knows he had to get past Bolton. The 13 cars stopped on the trip.
Has McNally just done a tyre?
Yeah, McNally.
I think he's just done a right rear as well.
Oh, I'd own a tyre shop right about now. He has. He's got. This is going to be watching two snails headbutt each other as we. And the 73 cars got going. The 13 car has been put Fellows around, and Taylor's got pace, and here he comes. Oh, he's going to try and push the 13 car in. And red. So what's that going to be for?
I'm picking
Rico. They're going the rescue car down there. He went for the big kamikaze dive and just about missed him. Yeah, and
he was going to get himself a postage stamp.
Well, wouldn't be the first. But they're going to go check on him and see if he's still there. You're right, bro? Yeah, sweet ass. Right, we're on the truck.
So our race leader's parked up down in front of us.
Oh, don't you love it when it's not your team and they're just mangling each other?
Just wrecking some gear. Isn't it great?
Well, just bear in mind, look...
This is the best $20 I've spent.
McNally's in front of us, and we can actually see his wing. That wing has shot forward about, I'd say 12 inches, and that's purely from hitting. Those were straight wing mounts at the start of this race. And he's coming, he's hit cars that hard. He's trying to put McNally back, but trust me, it's not the nicest thing to back when you've only got 3 tyres and one of them's to drive one.
For our ones that are watching on the live stream, here's a replay.
Bolton straight into the 13 car. They got on
Taylor.
it. Oh, sorry, Taylor. Wham! Slammed there. He's wounded. You can see he stalled the car. The wing's broken. Not that the wing's heading to performance. He's limping up high. Rico sniffs the wounded car and just kamikazes in, and oh! He got the corner of the bumper right smack on the radiator hoop. As we watch the 73 car there pushing the 13 off the end. And he got
pulled out of it. So.
He did pull out of it. That would have been interesting because the 13 car Rico there is just being lifted to the infield. This is so race leader. We'll call
What
it
are
when
we,
she
lap
starts.
7?
It is lap 7.
We've still got 3 to go.
McNally and Bolton are on the lead lap. Fellow, Nicol and Taylor are all on lap 4. So if the first and second took each other out, just on the off chance, we're going to have a very long race.
So Taylor really needs to just slow up, doesn't he? He's the only one with a car that's
I
all
think
4 wheels are.
I think he is, to be fair. In saying that, you know, Bolton's got to get through here, and the 13 car is still going. He gets out, he's going to get a sniff of what's going on, and Taylor is waiting for McNally. McNally goes high. He's not going to outrun him. That's the one thing.
Here's the white flag coming out too.
White flag comes out and so be looking in your mirrors, Nathan, because the 13 car could do something about it. In fact,
the 131. They've got to hold him up.
The race.
They've got to. They've opened the door, have they?
They have opened the door and they straighten McNally up. Fellows so close to the pole line, and the 861 is actually on the lead.
Who's going to win it?
This is
slow him up.
This is a cluster. As Dan McNally is going to take the checkered flag, and he does. The Barbarians take the win. As the 13 is second on the track is going to be the 861 of Bolton. And they've seen the checkered. Over we go. Bolton just has to limp home to get second.
Oh, dear me.
And this goes back to a statement I made earlier. You never win one, the other team always loses.
Exactly.
That was so close. Numbers were in the Otago favour, in the Otago side. How
All they
McNally
had to
got
do
through.
was just hold McNally up a wee bit longer over there in turn 3 and 4. But that's racing.
Okay, well, I think we need a breather, Ivan, because I know I do. I need a drink. And so let's roll out of this with some saloons coming back very shortly.
Want mag wheels now? We've got 14-inch mag and tyre combos from only $8 a week, 15s from $10 a week, and 17s from only $12 a week. 15 stores nationwide, limited time, only at Mag and Turbo.
Hi, Malcolm Nardo from Suck It Up. We specialise in hydro excavation in the Canterbury region, safe dig methods around services. Also we do septic tank cleaning, drain cleaning, CCTV over your pipes. If you want an excellent service, please check us out on Facebook.
Suck It Up Limited, 740 Marston Road, Christchurch. Call them 24 hours a day on 027 588 8809.
Saloons head around and waiting to see whether they get the thumbs up to grid up. And we're just sort of shaking our heads up here. That was a brutal team race. And
sure was. It was it was action all around the track.
yeah, that was
All the drivers were involved in something or other.
Yeah, that was gnarly. I guess every car's got a bit of damage out of that one, other than maybe the on the infield. But even then, I'm sure even their nerves are shattered. So it was 2 and 3, and it could have been anyone's race until the end, but the Barbarians taking it away. As our saloons head around, they will be starting as they come off of Iraways, Tony.
Indeed, MDS, diesel fuel injection specialist, bringing us this saloon race, and Willie Woodhouse in the 117 leading from the 71 of Willie Woodhouse. And 17, Blair Lee, tucked in third place at the moment. I suspect not for too much longer. 28, Steve Peterson's in fourth there, holding off his son, 433, Matt Peterson, who's having a great battle with our visitor from Dunedin, the 59 of Matt Green. So as they all go through a complete a lap, they're all looking pretty healthy out there. Some good battles going on in the pack, but at the moment, Willie Woodhouse in that 71 machine has the lead. Blair Lee trying to take over second place from Billy Woodhouse in the 117. Yes, I know, 17, 117, lead this, lead that. It's all a bit confusing, but if you're dyslexic, you don't want to watch the top three of this race. 71 leads 17 from 117. Thank goodness for Matt Peterson in a 433. Very sensible numbered car there, Matt. He's holding on to fourth place at the moment, trying to close down the 117 of Billy Woodhouse. Good battle for the lead here between the inside car, that's Blair Lee, the Kiwi Auto Spares Lovelady machine, and the 71 of Willie Woodhouse, who just has the edge at the moment, but you get the feeling that Blair Lee has a little bit more pace. He just needs the track to come to him. He just needs to find the right line to slingshot around Willie Woodhouse. 5-car Danny Knight had problems in the first heat, and he's pulled into the infield in this heat as well. There's quite a battle for the lead there, and a long way back to the battle for third place, where Matt Peterson running the high lines trying to get round Billy Woodhouse on 1-7. It looks like Matt is going to make that car stick within a lap or two, and gradually these guys are closing on the front two who are battling. And that's Blair Lee and Willie Woodhouse. Blair Lee trying to run high, trying to go deep into 3, but he's glued to the back of Woodhouse's car alongside him as they go past start finish, and he throws the car into turn 1. My goodness me, Blair Lee absolutely making that outside line work in a do or die fashion here at the moment in saloons, and he's really hauling. Willie Woodhouse can do nothing other than stay down low on the track and try and soak it up, use the pace that's down there. Blair Lee, just a couple of laps of highline stuff has been pretty unsuccessful. If anything, he's dropped back a car length now, and I think he's just going to have to regroup and think about his best strategy. That second battle for first and second. The battle for third and fourth is Matt Peterson getting ahead of Billy Lee Woodhouse now. We go back to Steve Peterson, 28, who's racing at the 11 of Brett McGlashan. Further back in the field, Scott Woodhouse, Matt Green, Lee Morris battling, and at the back of the field, Don Hobbs. So white flag about to wave now for the race leader, Willie Woodhouse in the 71 car. He's got a couple of car lengths over Blair Lee, I think the track's just gone slightly from the setup that Blair had. And also a little puff of smoke there I saw as he came out of turn 2. Maybe that 17 car not quite on song. And I think, barring any mishaps, Willie Woodhouse will bring it home. He does. Takes a good race win from Blair Lee, who put up a good battle in the middle of that race. And Matt Peterson, who's come home for a well-earned third place there.
Yeah, watching Blair Lee, you sensed he had the opportunity early in the race. Once they got into that latter stage, it was Woodhouse's race just to bring it home. Still only 1.3 seconds between the two of them as they came through. And I guess we now know who contests the point end of the saloon field in this grade.
Yeah.
Interesting to note just the paint on the front of Blair Lee's car starting to fall off. And it's mysteriously starting to morph into Ryan Marston's blue from when he had the 1NZ on his car. So it's a coincidence, I wonder.
No, I wonder indeed.
Okay, as we look into the pit chute, it is the street stocks will be out next. And as I hate to think what's going on in the pits, Tony. Don't you know how to damage if you're...
The crews working on those stock cars will be definitely earning their ice creams tonight.
Yeah, no, some of them will definitely want a cone afterwards, ice cream afterwards. Anyway, it is absolute mayhem down there as they get the cars ready. And saying that, they go the other extreme, Super Saloons, everything's tidy.
Yep.
Tidies, change some tyres, do some pressures.
Unless you're hating the cars.
Well, he didn't come out the last race, so one would assume that the third race might not be. It might be a given that he won't be there. But yeah, they'll come out and they've got a third heat, 15 laps. Burson's on top on points, so how do you put a sea anchor on him and hold him back is probably the key. It's not like a team's race where you can throw the mirrors in and block for the last race.
I'm guessing he'll have a rear start because I think he's had his front and his middle start,
But
so
like
he does have the work to do. But
7 points ahead of everyone, so if you're second or third, you need to have 7 or 8 cars. Now, don't get me wrong, in the Canterbury Champs we had for the Saloons a couple of weeks ago, that's definitely what happened. There was a couple of cars that were high on points and just seemed to forget they were racing in that third race. And we saw it also with the Super Stocks, a couple of Nelson cars high on points seemed to forget they were in a race, so the first 3 laps disappeared and the race was over.
Situated just 1.5 hours drive from Christchurch is Hanmer Springs, a small alpine village that has everything for the adventurer or for someone looking to relax. Stay a while and enjoy a bike ride through the numerous bush tracks, or relax in the famous hot pools. Take the whole family and let the kids take on the many attractions on offer. And to top off your stay, book now with Hanmer Holiday Homes, where there's a budget and accommodation to suit everyone. Call now.
So they're gridding up now, which is good news. So this race is brought to us by Sylvester V8 Performance, great supplier of the engines and car parts in Christchurch. Big thank you to Sylvester V8 Performance for bringing us lots of sponsorship and lots of support for Woodford Glen, but especially this race.
And we'll have with the Corvette flying out the wall of the building.
So you can see it's about 12-13 degrees here in Christchurch at the moment, and that easterly wind is still fairly keen and gusty out there.
Politely put, it's cold.
It's cold.
You're watching there, just looking at the corporate boxes. Not too many people sitting outside of them tonight. No. Okay, front row of the grid, we've got 2 of our visitors. Then we go back to Van Weishat by himself. We are in the starter's hands. How are we pushing from the back of the pack? We are pushing everybody. Let's test the brakes. We're away and racing. Very carefully speaking. We head down into EnviroWaste. Simon Bland leads us around. They're into the... McNally's into the back of... was into the back of the 33 car. As the 121 gets a bit of a tap there from the 28 of Steve Peterson. And it's actually Sinead McNally that's in the...
Oh, Steve Peterson got fed head first into the wall there.
Absolutely, but he's ricocheted out of it. Don't test his welding, because I know he's a good welder. Oh! Kahui launched at him.
Absolutely.
Wow. Peterson's losing the temper. He's trying to straighten up. Gets himself off the wall. Oh no, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. As we wait for the pack to go around, we'll go back commentating and not commentary editorials. It is Simon Bland back to... It is Corey Schumacher.
Yeah, 77.
So Schumacher there, back to Rob McShune. He's having a blind in his depth saw the light ball. The 777 car firing someone in there. And he's going to get a wallet for him. So he's having a crack there at the 15. He's just coming in. Kahui's back on the track and running. I'm guessing you probably want to go to a different zip code if Steve Peterson gets near you. And saying that, Matt Peterson's not too far behind him, so he'll be aware of what's happened. As the 27 car is going to absolutely, he backs off.
Backs out? I thought he was too.
He came in at pace, just fires him wide. Steve Peterson's pulled to the infield here. I think they have a couple of days to think about this one. It is Schumacher in the lead, back to Rob McSherry. Looking at Simon Bland running third at the moment. But the pace of the two Toyotas out in front, they have been the Form 2 cars tonight, the 77 and the 62. The Sora just so much power the car's got. He's just got to get control of the 777 cars parked up on the back straight in front of the Cars Warehouse grandstand. As we look to see what's going on out there, the race leader is Canterbury Schumacher, back to Rob McSherry. Bland coming through here. Leslie gives the 44 car, and he has a crack at Simon Bland, the 44 car.
Now that's brave.
Yeah.
It's not something you do lightly.
So Simon Bland's actually the referee over in Greymouth on any given Saturday. So as the 44 has a go at the 433. And
there's obviously something between Kahui and the Peterson family, isn't it?
Yeah, I would imagine. And a sec. It is with Kahui there limping around.
Checkered flag waves while all that was going on.
Steve Peterson's come back out. He wants to have another crack at him. 26 car. And I'll tell you what, the 26 car Pedley has probably saved an incident. As we wait for the flights to come down, we will be keeping people separate.
So there you can see why street stock racing is sometimes really quite exciting, because sometimes the tempers do fray a little bit, and that's not supposed to be part of racing, and no doubt the referees will make their own judgments as to what's acceptable and what's not. But not a championship night, not a night when the street stocks are racing for the ranch, as we are fond of saying, and so probably it doesn't matter too much in the overall scheme of things. Alrighty, that was event 13 on our program tonight. Next up, Super Saloons, their last heat of the night. Event 14 brought to us by Smith's Hire. And special guest Super Saloon commentator joins me, Ivan McPhail.
Wow. I've actually.
How are things going out there? You've had a little wander around?
I've had
Crowd enjoying it?
Wander around, yeah. It's not a bad crowd. It's cool out there. I think the food vans are doing well, and the coffee vans are all got queues and that. So
fantastic.
Been
That's
up
good.
in the corporate box with the team from New Zealand Building Removals. And
They enjoying their night?
They're enjoying their night
Fantastic.
up there. So
We enjoy their sponsorship. It's great to have them on board.
Yep, so if you need a house moved or a shed, or you want to buy a house, relocatable house, go and ring Shane at New Zealand Building Removals. They can help you out.
Fantastic. And of course, a reminder that our next meeting next week, next Saturday in a week's time, South Island Super Stock Championship is here at Koken, Woodford, Glen. There's going to be Super Stocks from Nelson and also from the North Island, so we're told. That's brought to us by Koken Tools. We're also going to run our Canterbury Modified Championship, and we're going to have some visiting modifieds from the North Island as well. At least a couple of them, Steve says.
Yeah.
Probably more. And we're also going to run our, and that's brought to us by Garage 16 Media, and I think there's a suggestion that Garage 16 Media may live stream that meeting.
I think so. They're coming down for it.
They're coming down for it anyway,
yeah.
so keep an eye on the Woodford Glen Facebook page, because there may well be a live stream of the Canterbury Modified Championship next weekend, and also the first round of the Demolition Derby Teams event. Derby Teams racing is, in my opinion, much more exciting than the regular Demolition Derby, which can get just a little bit tedious sometimes, watching cars slowly work their way around the track in an injured state. At least when you're watching a teams event, you tend to get the bigger hits, and it finishes after a certain number of laps.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
So it's good stuff.
And it's hard to believe that next Saturday is our last meeting till Boxing Day.
Yeah, that's right. And we take a little break for a few weeks, and we will be back on Boxing Day with our traditional Boxing Day meeting, which is always a big one. It's usually
huge.
pretty nearly full here. And now, am I right saying, Mr. Club President, that we can purchase tickets online now for some of our events?
Yeah, we can. If you go onto our website, we have an online ticket purchasing system there. It's working well. A lot of people are just buying them online. They scan your phone. You don't have to print them. They scan your phone at the gates, and it just speeds the process. But it's the way of the future.
Build it, make it, fix it, shift it, tow it, stow it, dig it, lift it, mow it, trim it, grind it, chip it. We hire it. Mix it, pour it, smooth it, finish it, saw it, clean it, nail it, polish it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it. 0800 24/7 rent. We hire it.
Second row of the grid, Luke Keegan and one of the other, Jackson Lovelady. First row of the grid, Luke. Second row of the grid, those cars are so similar. Jackson Lovelady in the 817, that's also a Lovelady car. Of course, his father built that car, and he's racing it again. It's one of the Bolton-owned cars. And he's alongside another Bolton-owned car with the Ricky Bolton 861 Pro X car. So it's quite a Bolton-related front four there. 34 Ray Stewart on the outside there in his Hypermac. He's alongside the 21 of Ian Burson. 27 Trevor Elliott's there too. Dave Manera and Malcolm Nartai tucked in behind at the back of the grid. It's Chris Cowling in the 891 and 58 Richie Taylor. So here we go. Green racing. We're underway. Final heat of the Canterbury Championship for Super Saloons. And Mark Grocott lifting the inside front wheel, but he stays in the lead. Oh, bit of contact at the back of the field there between Manera and is that Richie Taylor. And Taylor's sideways across the track in turn two. We must go yellow, we do.
And Richie's been around a long time to know that
he just got going as the light went yellow.
First lap restart.
There we go. So there'll have to be a restart. Goodness knows quite what happened there. I didn't really see it. It almost looked, I'm not sure if Manera slowed for some reason and Richie went into the back of him, or Richie was a bit quick off the mark and went in the back of his own accord. He can't really be put to the back of the field because
he's starting off
the back anyway. So the lights are yellow. They'll regrid. Of course, if there's an instant on the first lap, then we have a full restart of the race, side by side. So possibly a suggestion that Ray Stewart might have been involved in that too. Yeah, so I was watching the front of the race, but it's quite possible that Ray Stewart checked up a little bit there, and there was a bit of a concertina back, which is what led to poor old Richie ending up in the back of Dave Manera's diff. But anyway, we're underway. We're about to get underway again now. We're cruising very slowly, I have to say, into turns 3 and 4. And away we go. Green again, and this time 871 gets the jump on well, talking of jumping, the 73 of Mark Grocott lifting that front inside wheel high in the air, and several cars have passed him as a result of him losing some momentum there, including the 861 of Ricky Bolton and Jackson Lovelady as well. And here comes Burson muscling his way 3 wide out of turn 4 through the pack. That was impressive enough. Burson doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to make it hard for himself here. He can just take the easy road, but he's not going to. It's not in his nature, of course. He's a racer out and out. So, leading the pack, 871. Keegan on lap number 2. And he's just holding out the 861 of Ricky Bolton. A couple of car lengths back to Jackson Lovelady, who's got that bright orange Debbie the Webster missile on his rear. The 21 of Burson from Nelson. Fluffy Grocott, the 73 machine's dropped back a little bit. He's under some pressure now from the 19 of Malcolm Nartai, trying to pick his way past Grocott. It's not easy. And the 891 of Chris Cowling has definitely found his groove after a couple of heats getting that car dialed in. And he's got some serious pace down on the track now. Let's go back out front again now. 861 Ricky Bolton's made the pass on Luke Keegan. Keegan running the outside line. Bolton keeping it a bit more conservative. Here comes Burson up the inside of Keegan. I suspect he's got the car under him to be able to take that second place in a lap or two. Keegan's not going to make it easy for it though, running the high line that he loves so much. And it's a real battle for second place there with Jackson Lovelady wanting to join in too. Keegan gets the slingshot off turn 2 and takes the second place cleanly through the back straight. But it's on turn 3 and 4 where Burson is a bit stronger. Here comes Lovelady up the inside of Burson. Ian Burson caught napping a little bit there and Jackson Lovelady took advantage. He's running the inside line very, very fast. Keegan's running the outside line and Burson is getting a little bit squeezed out here. 3 wide into turn 3, that doesn't go too well, so Burson backs out of it quite sensibly. So he's got to bring that car home, and at the moment, Burson's being blocked out of second place by 2 very keen Bolton family drivers. Meanwhile, out front, Speedway New Zealand President Ricky Bolton is making no contest of it. He's pulling away from these cars battling behind him. He's got at least 10 car lengths over the 871 of Luke Keegan, who's still running the high line with great effect. And Burson trying to follow him through and past Jackson Lovelady, but Jackson's got great speed up the inside too. Look at Jackson poke the nose of the car in there through turn 3. He's going to force the 21 car out wide and he gets the acceleration out of turn 3 and side by side on the start-finish line. Goodness knows how many laps have gone. 9 now. I wish there were quite a lot more because this is exciting stuff. 871 still holding on to second place. Burson trying to come at him now. Staying lower on the track this time, but still Keegan running high and gets great traction out of turn 4 and again you'll see it out of turn 2 as he comes through now. Jackson Lovelady running the lower line. Cowling coming through now, starting to battle with Jackson, and Mark Grocott just not much he can offer to get with these guys. So another lap ticked off for Ricky Bolton. Keegan's still running the high line. He's in a solid second place now. Burson's settled for third. It's all he needs to win this title, I think. And Cowling gets past Lovelady just to prove that he's finally got that 891 chassis sorted out for Josh Bolton. So we're just waiting for the white flag to come out. I think we've completed 12 laps, so another 3 to go. Ricky Bolton, all on his own out in front. Did the hard work early in the race and he's reaping the reward now. It's getting a little bit dusty, a little bit slick, but he's used to that. He can bring this car home. Luke Keegan doing a lot of hard work out there. He'll be pretty tired and sweaty after this race with all the work that has to be done running high on this track. And Burson, I think, is settled for third place. I don't think he's going to force the issue. Cowling trying to come at Burson. He may get him on the last lap. White zone now for Ricky Bolton, just 1 lap to go. Running through 1 and 2, down the back straight, past the Value Cars Warehouse Grandstand into Enviro Waste turn. He's going to bring this one home. Chris Cowling just seems to back off a little bit. I don't think the places are going to change much. There's your checkered race win to Ricky Bolton. Well earned it was too. Luke Keegan, fantastic drive there, running high the whole race for second. And Ian Burson takes third. Dave Manera's ended up on the wall in turn 2 there. Not quite sure why. And what have we got there? 37 points for Ian Burson and a tie for second place between Ricky Bolton on 29 points and Chris Cowling on 29 points.
Well, if
So
you
there
go
you
to a
go.
4-lap runoff, because I doubt Ricky's interpretation of how you do that would be the way we would normally do a 4-lap runoff in a Super Saloon. And I guess, well, we've got time for it.
We've got time for it, and if they're up for it, I would dare say we're up for it. Are you up for it out there? 4-lap runoff between Ricky Bolton and Chris Cowling? I'd say yes to that.
I mean, without being crass about it, Pearson's minced the field. He's basically got he's beaten everybody in every race.
Yes.
He's got ahead of everybody, and he increased his points lead in that race. Scary thought. You know, 4 Bolton cars out there, still a 5th one in the shed.
Yes.
So there's still a hypermac to make an appearance at some point one day. So it'll be interesting to see what the plans are there.
Yeah, Harley Rob maybe? No, sorry, no.
I'm sure Malcolm's got enough cars to keep him busy. But yeah, so
he seems to drive everyone else's car at some point.
But I guess then the sad part from a Canterbury perspective is that it's 1, 2, 3 are all visiting drivers. We'll concede that the 891 is a Christchurch car,
but driven by a North Island driver. Yeah, that's very true. So Nelson, Dunedin, and Chris Cowling. Tauranga, yeah.
What you think you do with your 4-wheel drive. What you actually do with your 4-wheel drive. No matter what you do with your 4-wheel drive, we've got the right tyre for you. So come on down to Mag & Turbo.
Big thanks to Trenchless Services for bringing us mini stocks. After that, we're going to have 3 more races. The first of the Stockcar Teams finals, the 3rd versus 4th. Then we'll have the saloons out, and then at the end of the night, the grand final for the Stockcar Teams, the 1st versus 2nd.
And I guess time permitting, and whether we're going to run countback or what, we could get a 4-lap runoff for that final, hopefully.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool if we could.
Steve Lennon, if you're listening, we'd like a 4-lap runoff.
Oh, to be fair, it's actually Kinder.
Oh, it's a Kinder. Okay. Kinder. Sort it out, man.
And
it's not very often you get to say that, so I just thought
Oh, no, I can. I have done. Knowing that man for many a year. I think we went to high school together.
Did you? Oh, fantastic. Well, he's certainly been around Woodford Glen a long time. So have you, mate.
Yeah, well, to be fair, both our fathers have been around just as long, so yeah.
Alrighty, so we're just waiting for a race start for mini stocks, who in turn are waiting, I think, for the water to go into the track.
I was getting Manera's car off the track because being with its lovely plastic beaks on it, there was nothing to hook onto it, so they've had to take the front clip off to get the car lifted. And of course that has involved the tow truck tied up for a lap or two. So front row of the grid, 27-17. 27 being Ruben O'Connell on the outside, being Scott Wright. We come off the start finish line, off the turn 4, and we are racing. I was about to say that really loud, but then I preferred to actually go that fast. It was a great break there from the 195 car. He got up the inside very quickly. Bright holding that low line, and a real battle here between Scott Bright and Caleb Adam. And of course, Kyle Anderson's going to join in very soon. Shoots up the inside of the 5 car. Mitchell Berry's there as well in the 32. And this is going to be a 4 or 5-way battle at the front here, is it? Berry looks up the inside of Anderson. And of course, the track being a little greasy in certain spots, you've got to be a wee bit careful you don't lose all your momentum. It's not like you're boasting anything in horsepower department. As we bounce off the wall, or bounce off the ruts out of 4. Berry's got the better run out of all of this up the inside of the 195.
Cole Anderson following him as well.
Yeah, lurking back there. And Scott Wright in command. As Anderson runs in hot, and his mate's going to give him a wee nudge there on the 195, straightens him up. And Mitchell goes up the inside of the 17 car. Just getting in there nice and close, gets through. So Mitchell Berry heads past the Valley Cars Warehouse grandstand. As the 5 car and the 195 just straightening each other up. Well, getting out of shape. Sparks off the wall from the 17 car. Don't think the side rolls were that far out, but hey, we got it. Cole Anderson looking up the inside of the 17 as we head into turn 1. Gets a little bit of wheelgate there. And Riley Evans in to do the battle as well. So out in front, Mitchell Berry. Then there's a 3-way split for that 2nd spot. And then as you head back a little further to around that 4th, 5th spot, 4th and 5th spot, there is a bit of a battle there between Phillips and Adam. And Berry just streaking around the outside of the back markers. Absolutely flying on a sneaking suspicion. I should know the answer to this. That the 32 car is the X18 car from last year of Sarah Ballas.
Okay.
Hence why it is so quick. As Anderson looking to the outside of Bright. Riley Evans is going to jump in here for a bit of a battle. And Riley Evans could just do the squeeze here on Bright. He's going to pick up a spot here. Anderson out high and wide. Can he swoop through Envirowaste? Does. Pulls out a link, can't he? Berry goes across the start-finish line. And definitely you're starting to see as the season's progressing, as newer cars are coming in, Tony, that there is quite a speed variance between the ones at the front.
There is, isn't there? Yeah, it's quite noticeable.
As some of the newer competitors just getting engulfed as back markers now. We off Envirowaste. The checkered unfilled for the 32 car of Mitchell Berry takes away the race win. Then we'll go to Cole Anderson and Riley Evans.
Fantastic, good racing there from our mini stocks. Mitchell Berry won quite a few races in youth mini stocks a few seasons ago and returns to the winning way tonight. And I was impressed too with Cole Anderson all night, right up near the pointy end of the field too, in each of the three races. So Trenchless Services brought us that race. Thank you to them. As I say, next up it's Stockcar Teams, the final, the third and fourth playoff, if you like, race off for the final, brought to us by Challenge Wymack. Those guys will be out on the track very shortly.
As they get around, they'll get a little bit of a clean up and a tidy up. The gates will get opened. And I guess the cool thing about a mini stock is relatively, there's not a lot of damage. They go home,
Put it on the trailer, polish it up, the fuel, maybe a new tyre or two, and away you go.
I can't imagine they're going to chew the treads off them too hard.
No, you'd get a few meetings out of them. Yeah. Fantastic. All right, so that's mini stocks done for the night. This Stockcar Teams final is going to be interesting. As you say, it's a repeat of the first round, effectively. So we'll be back with those guys very shortly. In the meantime, we're going to pay some bills.
For any powder coating job, no matter the size, Invercargill's powder line can deliver the desired professional finish. Specialising in powder coating and thermoplastic coating for any aluminium or steel items. Powder line services are suitable for both domestic and commercial purposes with 2 large ovens on site. Powder line can powder coat anything from mag wheels, car parts, gates, sprint car frames to house flashings, garden seats and aluminium window frames. With 280 colours on site for customers to choose from, we have access to thousands more, which are available by order. Give the friendly office staff a call to book your job in now.
Ford made a great car. Mag and Turbo made it my car.
Have parked up on the infield. The Outlaws, they will grid up, and I thought we had more cars coming out for the Outlaws, but this could turn painful. We've only got 3 that have come out, and yet 5 Grizzlies have rocked on out. Their cars all sponsored there by Signlink, beautifully presented, albeit if the superstition was to kick in, you don't paint your race car green. Or have the number 13 on it, slightly.
So, what are we doing?
Well, if you looked at the lineup on the infield, Jacob...
Oh, it's 6 drivers. 6 drivers just is doing a few laps in this car.
So that'll be Michael Aris in the 73 car. And I think it handles differently than the Tri-Rail.
So, yeah.
He's in it. And saying that, it's going to be Michael Aris, Jacob Bolton, and Knight. Knight will be doing this race as well. Looks like you get some news there. Is there a runoff?
Yeah, there is a runoff in the Super Saloons. So So that'll be up shortly between Ricky and Chris Cowling. And Morris Cowling builds both those cars.
Yeah. Yeah, you wonder which one's going to get the better setup advice going into that one.
Well, hopefully Josh is getting plenty out of Chris driving his car.
Yeah. Looking at I'd say Michael Harris has realised that this car bounces more than his one, and he's going to pull the gate and call for 3. There's probably no huge surprises there, because that is not how he thought that car was going to handle.
So we've got Peter Knight, Jacob Bolton and Michael Harris.
Well, he did take when Nathan was in the car, he did take a fairly good nudge there from the 222 car down at Enviro Waste. So they'll come down here. He will call for 3. Mainland teams brought us courtesy of New Zealand Building Removals, and for some reason they feel necessary to put
film
you and
us,
I.
yeah.
Don't have to. Yeah, well.
The tall and the short of it.
Yeah. Marginal difference.
Yeah, I'm the tall one.
Yeah, as if. Right, they've called the hooter, and it will be.
You've got to stop saying that.
Well, it does. It sounds like a giant hooting. It sounds like a dead duck being shot out there.
Brian, our flagman, sitting there ready to go.
Yeah, I would imagine that right rear corner just felt like it was, to look at the way the car was handling, it looked like it was digging in or rolling over onto it. So he'll want something done.
Yeah, what would you do? Start off the front row and just sit on the brakes?
Well, it's a numbers game, and the numbers aren't in the Otago's favour. And he's just checking in the back end. I think this is the difference. You know, Michael Harris has a tri-rail.
Yep.
You've driven both forms of these cars. In fact, actually, your old the space frame you had before you started racing under the lease cars. That was
the Higgins copy.
It wasn't totally dissimilar from one of these. So they are a very different handling car, aren't they? The tri-rail versus
totally
the space
different.
frame.
Yep, totally different. And I was talking to Harley Robb about that earlier on tonight down in the pits. How did he find driving the tri-rail Superstock that he drove last weekend? He said, yeah, totally. He loved it. Totally different to drive though. You've
got to be smooth, don't you?
Yep.
Because of course you ran the Silver Bullet Junior, didn't you, for
a
season or so?
Yep, the ex-Davis car, Hayburn car out of Wellington. So they just lift the rear of that car up, and as we were talking about, as the reserve driver is in for that.
It's always a mission, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reserve driver. Hiding to nothing.
No, it's another driver. It's not actually Michael Harris that we thought of. We're just getting some information.
So we're just checking. They're obviously winding some weight or doing something into the back of that car, but yeah.
James Spate.
Okay. Didn't see
I'm just guessing that Spates is made in Otago.
I just said okay because it sounded authoritarian.
Oh dear.
But
there's got to be a class clown.
Yeah, but why did they send a Muppet instead? Anyway, as we start through the setup, why did they throw the scales over the fence and do that too? Anyway, yeah, so as I say, it is a numbers game and it's not in the favour of Otago, this one. Judging by the cars that are on the track, it looks like Houston Jr. is going to park this one out, but we ain't gridded yet.
73's on the move.
We know the car goes. I guess they just want to make it so it handles. Unless, of course, the other option is, and this would be the logical approach, Mark Taylor could be in the car.
Well, yeah.
I know sitting with the Canterbury team, every driver signed every other scrutineering card. It's just protocol as you do. I guess in the context of what's happened here, Nathan's out of the car and they've got an alternate driver in. They're calling for it in, so they're waving them in to the grid.
Hurry up.
Oh, and it looks like
Peter Knight.
He will join. 73 car will join in there. We'll probably end up calling it Nathan, even though we know it's not him in the car, because the brain will go in. Houston Jr. will sit this one out. The last car will be Pockets in the 417. We are ready to go racing. Otago versus Greymouth for the minor placings. We take a big deep breath, leave it to the starter, and this is not going to be pretty. Puffing and puffing and smoking away down there. We can see the smoke coming off the 91 car. No, they left the flag on the track. Great move. As we now know what's going on. We're in the starter's hands. We have green and we're away, and Bolton gets to it. Forbes is there, the 73 car, trying to chase the 187. Knight's got his hands full. 2 on 1. And 73 pulls to the infield.
Now we've got 4 on 2.
Yep, Bolton's out there as Knight is putting the battle in. So 186. Knight's being held to the wall. The 73 car pulling. No, interesting to see what he does. If he pulls back out, they'll be yelling and screaming, no doubt. Bolton goes through. Knight will get in between and block for him, but he does come up on the 46 car. Knight's about to get collected, but to be fair to Knight, he held on to that pretty well. Bolton's got dealing with Martin. Knight's got a little, he's right down.
Bolton's been pushed out wide.
Bolton's been pushed wide, so the Greymouth team realised just put the head down and go now. Now Bolton doesn't have a lot of choice. He's got to get going. And the 46 car of Daniel Martin has done what it needed to do. Out in front though, Forbes is running away with it. Oh, has the 861 car got away with it? He's got the 46 all over his rear bumper, trying to push him out wide. Knight's been taken out wide, or no, he's going to go back down the other way. So the Martin boys are keeping everybody busy.
Well, the rest of the Greymouth cars just chug away.
Yep.
Bolton gets going again.
These two cars of Forbes and Browning, they know they don't need to do anything. They're just going to just keep lapping up. Martin Brothers, they'll keep everything busy. And Bolton knows he's got to contend with the 46 car again. And he'll give him a tube. Yep, and can he hang on to it? He does. He holds on to it. Oh! He's not really in a place he wants to be right now, as he has to realign himself.
Peter Knight gets going again. So basically all those guys can do now is just slow up. The lead cars are coming around on them now.
Knight's got front end damage. Limping around there. And to be fair, this might actually be one of these races that's going to peter out. Knight is limping around on 3 wheels. Oh no, Bolton's going to go in for the kamikaze on the 46 car. But he's got both Martin boys to deal with here. And actually Knight's got the right get. Oh! Wow! Martin got into him. And he's still straightening him up. He's going to have a go here as well.
Just missed him.
Bolton was just far enough around the corner. Knight's been spun. Bolton's got enough pace to get clear of them. He's got sparks flying off the wheel gate on the rim. It is Forbes, Browning, Bolton, Martin, Knight.
Well, Knight, you got to give him credit. Let's just pull back out again.
He doesn't care who he pulls out in front of. So the 46 car is going to come in. And yeah, I think that probably hurt the 46 car more than it hurt Peter. Because the car that he wants is that one, the 417. Of course, the key to remember in teams racing, when 2 cars get to you, the first one that goes to hit you is probably not the lead car. Bolton comes around. He's picked up Daniel Martin. He's going to try and outrun him. He's going to have a go through. Knight's protected him. But Knight... Oh, and if you actually saw the hit there, I reckon the 91 car bounced backwards. It was...
well, he's wrecked the front end of his car. It's all locked up. So
Yeah,
the white flag's out for Greymouth.
White flag is out. Forbes is our race. He's on lap 9, as is Browning. Bolton spun round. And this is going to be a moment of Forbes will take the win. And Greymouth will take 3rd place overall. And what ended up being... So Knight.
He's got both sides now.
To be honest, looking at the back of the front wheel of Knight's car, you can probably still round, and it's still not. It's not too bad. It's just fallen off, broken the kingpin.
So that was our race for 3rd and 4th. So
look at the front of the 91 car, and that was from purely running up the back end of the 27 car.
So Greymouth take out the 3rd spot. And Otago, unlucky. Otago have been impressive. I've been quite impressed with this Otago side.
So we do have the 50-50 result that's been brought up here too. And if you're watching Stockcar Teams, it seems only appropriate. If your ticket says meeting 4 and it has ticket 573, I was trying to figure out if it was a 1 or a 7. 573, ticket number 573, you have won $886, and if you'd like to come down to the pit gate, you can collect your money. So Greymouth there, 2 wins tonight, probably doesn't reflect how well they've performed with the getting third. They probably, you almost feel like they're in that, they should be in the final, don't you?
You'd think so, yeah. So, isn't it funny, we were talking off here, 2 teams that didn't want to race each other at the start of the night are racing each other at the end of the night.
They're racing each other twice. Yeah, the looks on people's faces when it all came through. But Taylor Forbes there taking the checkered flag round. I do believe that one's for sale. And it's still tidy, so it's probably worth having a look at. I mean, if I told you Dave Houston's cars for sale, you'd probably look at me sideways. But as we watch the replays there, Peter Knight, his work rate was massive in that race. But it was a numbers game, so he was always going to have to do twice as much with half the equipment. And he took a beating. The Martin brothers were all over him, and they gave him absolute treatment. Taylor Forbes here giving him a good smack. And it just didn't seem to matter. There was something green leached to the back of him at some point.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, good race win there for Greymouth, and Dunedin will come back strong. Don't get me wrong there. It's good to see them back, teams racing in a contact class apart from street stocks.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is, and as we said earlier tonight, this is one of those events, if you win it, you can bring it home to your home track and actually do your club a lot of good by having that event, that national event at your track. As our saloons come out and the stock cars disappear, well,
these ones do, but don't forget we've got the big final coming up after this race. The first versus second battle between the Crushers and the Barbarians.
And rumours of a runoff.
And we've had that confirmed from Kinder. There will be a runoff for second and third place in the Canterbury Super Saloon Championship between Chris Cowling and Ricky Bolton. So stay tuned after the... I don't know if that's going to come up before the stock cars or after. I'm not sure. Looking in the pit chute at the moment, can't see anything. So don't know...
Just the Canon.
Yeah. Yes, just the GWM Canon double cab ute, which we've been talking about all night because Steve said we should, but it's definitely worth talking about when you look at it. It's a nice colour, that one, that blue. I like it.
Says a man with a white car.
Yeah, well... Well, if there'd been a blue one available, I would have bought a blue one, okay? It's just, I just
putting it out there. I mean,
no, it's fine. Yep.
All right, I didn't get to choose the colour of my vehicle.
No. There you go. Saloons. Sorry. Don't worry about us wittering on here. Matt Peterson off the front row there in the 433. And on the outside, the 7 of Scott Woodhouse, sorry. Scott Bright races in mini stock. Scott Woodhouse. I knew it was one of the Scots. 11, Brett McGlashan tucked in behind, and Brett Blair Lee in the Kiwi Auto Spears 17 machine. 28, Steve Peterson's there with the 71 Willie Woodhouse behind him, and 37 Lee Morris. 117 Billy Lee Woodhouse is tucked in behind, and the 59 of Matt Green from Dunedin, and the 6 of Don Hobbs is at, what is it, 6 or 8 of Don Hobbs at the back of the field there. So they're running down the back straight now, starting to build up a little bit of pace, starting to bunch up, getting ready for a race start as they come through 3 and 4 and onto the front straight. Let's see what these guys can do. Brought to us by TL Parker. And away we go. And it's Woodhouse, Scott Woodhouse on the 7 car, gets the jump on Matt Peterson. He's first into turn 1. Peterson's got the inside line though, and he's making a good race of it as they come out of turn 2. Not much between those two cars. McGlashan's had a good start as well. He's in third place, just holding off the 17 of Blair Lee at the moment. Coming out of turn 4, complete the first lap. Matt Peterson has his nose in front, but there's not much between Peterson in the 433 and Woodhouse in the 7 car. Blair Lee starting to hit his stride in that 17 machine, and he's starting to make some progress alongside Woodhouse now for second place. McGlashan trying to run the outside line to get alongside him as well. It's a tall order in a saloon, but he's giving it a go. 433 Peterson, he's got the lead, a car length over the 17 of Blair Lee. Woodhouse battling with McGlashan for third, a couple of car lengths back to Steve Peterson in the 28 car, and Lee Morris having a good run there in the 37 machine. Tucked in just behind them, Willie Woodhouse trying to find a way through in the 71 car. no spare track available for him at the moment. Billy Lee Woodhouse in the 117s behind the father there, and Matt Green and Hobbs at the back of the field. So they come round out of Invaraway's turn onto the front straight. Matt Peterson's got about 3 or 4 car lengths over the 17 of Blair Lee, in turn 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of Scott Woodhouse, who's holding out the 11 of McGlashan. 28, Steve Peterson's right there, along with the 37 of Lee Morris, and Willie Woodhouse right on the tail of that group of cars, trying to work his way through. Not easy, but he's managed to pass Morris. That's 4 laps completed now for Matt Peterson. He's enjoying a good race here. Had a pretty torrid time in the street stock earlier in the night, but this race in the saloon is definitely going his way. Blair Lee closing on him, I think, a little bit. It'll be interesting to see the lap times between the 4.33 and the 17, because that could tell the story of whether or not Blair Lee could get past in the laps that remain in this race. They've cleared out from Scott Woodhouse in the 7 car and the 28 of Steve Peterson, and a good battle further back between McGlashan and Willie Woodhouse in the 71. So that's 6 laps down now for Matt Peterson. He's just got a car length or 2 over Blair Lee. You get the feeling Lee's catching with every lap. Peterson, the car possibly just not quite there now compared to what he had earlier in the race. And Blair Lee right on his tail. I wonder if we're going to see Blair Lee try and get past in the laps that remain. They've cleared out from Scott Woodhouse in the 7 car, who's under increasing pressure from Steve Peterson, who's having his best race of the night in Precious there, the 28 machine, and Willie Woodhouse trying to work his way around the outside in the 71. So coming into the white zone now, just 1 lap to go. Can Matt Peterson hold on? Can Blair Lee run a slingshot off 2 or 3 and try and get past? He does get good speed out of turn 2 there. He's as close to Peterson as he's been all race. Puts the nose in front in 3. It's going to be a bold move if it comes off. I don't think it does. He washes out wide. Peterson stays low and takes the win. Pretty exciting final lap there, Jeremy.
Yeah, beautifully done. Matt Peterson just had enough in the tank to bring it home. Blair Lee gave it what he could.
He did.
And I guess this is true to the difference between saloons and super saloons. It just isn't that horsepower to jump off the corner. You've got to run with momentum.
Yep.
And I guess it's also probably nice for Matt and Steve not to get 1 or 2 in a race.
That's right.
Anyway, there is a runoff in the chute. And it is the...
As we called it, Ian Burson has taken away first place in the Canterbury Super Saloon Championship, brought to us by New Zealand Building Removals. But the battle for 2nd and 3rd in that championship is going to come down to the next 4 laps of racing.
Yeah, 861 and 891. Don't you love triple digits? And of course, I guess the only thing to think about is if Ricky slows down on lap 3, be concerned, Chris. Anyway, it's a
remarkably similar cars in many ways, aren't they? Because they're both Pro X's. Ricky's was built last year or the year before?
It was assembled last year. It was built in the workshop up here at White Rock, as was Josh's car.
Which was built in the off-season just gone.
But I believe Josh did run the 861 car down in Dunedin at one meeting, and hence the move to the Pro X.
Yep.
How we going? Smoker time. No, I've been I have a beer, mate. Still working. Raspberry and Coke for me, thank you, Lauren. Busy, hey. All right, mate. I'll catch you up later on. Good to see you. See you. Oh, 2nd flat tyre in 2 days. Here's my phone. Get wholesale tyres in Whakatane.
Need truck tyres? Wholesale tyres. Good tyres, better prices, great people.
Both out and out racers, of course. Both been very successful in their time in various ways in the sport of Speedway. And interesting runoff, really interesting couple of characters to bring together on a racetrack for 4 laps with no one else around. I was rather looking forward to this.
You've got probably both extremes. You've got someone who is smooth and fast, and then you've got Ricky. And No, Ricky is fast. We can't take that away from him. But they're two very diametrically opposed driving styles. The Cowling's so deep into Super Saloons and almost part of New Zealand folklore as far as Super Saloon racing goes. Whereas Ricky has had that contact raid involvement, started out in grubbies or street stocks, through to stock cars and super stocks, and now into the latest form of contact racing, supers. And he's holding Cowling high. He is holding him as high on that track as he can.
Oh look, Ricky is a smart racer. He races with his head some of the time. There's no doubt that he's got the smarts to be able to take the race to Chris Cowling.
It's not what we say, it's the innuendos behind it.
Oh, I know.
No, look, at the end of the day,
we love him. Oh, we love both of them.
There's not many drivers that take the ribbing that we would give Ricky and not get a bit drop on lip.
No, fair enough. He's got more hair than Chris. But that probably doesn't count for much. So the lights are out.
Steve, Chris, and
the lights are out. This race is brought to you by Ultimate Cynicism, and we're about to see who will take second and third in the Canterbury Championship. They both gas it out of turn 4. They're side by side down the front straight. I think Chris has got the nose in front. He's running deep. He's on the outside. Ricky's on the inside. Ricky's got it. No, Chris has got the slingshot off too. Chris, can he get in front? Ricky will be seething at that. Now Chris goes down low and he's just got to bring it home. Hold Ricky down low. Ricky's seen where the grip is though around the outside. Has Ricky got what it needs to push from turn 2? And he just hasn't. He's tried it there. You can see him trying to run a little higher and he's lost ground on Chris Cowling. I think Chris has got this one in the bag. I think it was all about track position out of turn 2 was what got him the go forward he needed. The car just definitely not behaving itself. Ricky running high there, lifting the front wheels. That's cost him even more time. His car just not set up to run out there where possibly the grip was. And there's the white flag. Chris Cowling's all of 7 or 8 minutes ahead now of Ricky Bolton. He just needs to bring it home. Ricky's just bicycling the car a little bit there through 1 and 2. He's just not quite got the setup for that part of the racetrack, whereas I think Chris Cowling did. So the checkered flag comes out and waves. It's a number 2 for the Canterbury Championship as Chris Cowling, number 3, Ricky Bolton.
Yeah, brought that home beautifully. I put myself on tongue-tie. And if you notice, Chris, same thing he did here at New Zealand Title, drove the car in and just apexes faster than anyone else in the country.
Yeah.
But he takes home the...
Yes, he does. Yeah, 100% right. It was a very smooth drive there, and Ricky had to get a little bit angry with the car in the last couple of laps to try and make something happen. The car just wasn't quite going to do it. But full marks to Ricky for trying, full marks to Chris for a very good strategy and very good car control. It'd be great if we're watching the live stream to see a replay of that first half a lap, because that's really where it all happened. But give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Cowling come all the way down from Tauranga to race in this Canterbury Championship tonight, and comes away with second place.
And just bear in mind, Ian Burson, absolutely the class act. He had the pace on everybody as we watch the replay up here. Cowling went high, he committed, he had that car square. Bolton just could not get the drive down low, and there was a little bit of a sneaky rub on the way past. I think it was more of a, I'm giving from the elbows out and just see if you're prepared to give me a nudge.
It's all about getting the power down in this part of the racetrack, coming out of turn 2. Bang, there it is. That's where the runoff was won. As you say, a little bit of a rub there, as you could see it from the end on view. We didn't see that at the time, but there you go. Rubbing's racing. Alrighty, so that's our Super Saloons done for the night. Thank you to New Zealand Building Removals for bringing us to that championship. But the real excitement is about to continue in the last race of the night, the Stockcar Teams Grand Final, the first versus second, the Crushers versus the Barbarians. Yeah. I'll hand you over to our stock car specialist, Jared and Ivan.
So as we look over the far side, what we can tell is Martin Nichols Sr. hasn't come out in this race. So it is Rico Gray, Mark Jr., with Dan McNally and Jaden Nicholl. Then we have the Crushers coming out. How many of those are coming out? Is it 4 or 5? It looks like it's going to be the 4. It is going to be Awa Johns. He'll be stepping in for Chris Wildley. Then we go back to Wade. And Colin Cameron with Headley Smith. And this is 4 on 4. Full complement of team.
So where's your money? Don't sit on the fence and get splinters.
I'm standing here in a Crusher's shirt. Where do you think? I'm not stupid enough to walk in. And you know, and even if they're out not listening to us, I'm sure someone will post it on. Let them know. As our bearded wonder runs across the infield. Headley just coming over to the pit gate. Oh no, it's going to be Chris Wildey's out.
The tank is back.
Yeah. So.
Told you it was only superficial. It's like tipping a turtle up. Just put it back on. It's on its way. And
to be fair to that, now bearing in mind how old this tank is, it's older than most of the drivers in the Crushers. It's the 53 car, of course, is a Dave Evans tank, and with its rebuild is now a Pajewski tank because Pajewski did most of the panel work for them, folded it up rather. But yes, it is. That car is probably older than many of the drivers. Well, it is older than many of the drivers on the track.
So it looks like Harwood John's possibly going to sit out this one.
Yeah, I think they're going to run with the same four they have all night. And part of this is the head game too. If you think about the years that Blair Cunningham sat on the sideline for the Tigers, it's about getting drivers that actually can jump in at a moment's notice.
Yep.
So actually, to be fair, Arwa's probably had the hardest job of the night. One, because he'd love to be in the team's race, but two, to actually remember what the roles are. So when people jumping in, as the 222 will join us behind the 151 car. And they're giving them the signals.
Giving them the hurry up.
It looks like
it's not that hard to work out.
Yeah, well, they're just, it's Headley we're waiting for. There we go. Everyone else is taking their spot. And of course it is the final. Actually, of course, it's lovely when we do it with that fifth round gridding up, don't they? Last car to join in is going to be McNally. Well, the safe bet is the Christchurch team's going to win, As the 107 car on the front row of the grid. He has got Mark Jr. beside him. We're in the starter's hands. We are ready to go. This is our final. And Cameron gets away. And I think he's blowing the gearbox or done something. No, he got pushed to the infield. He's back out. So Chris Wildey gets through. So is Colin Cameron. I think he jumped out of gear or did something. Wade has got sparks, his flywheel's just sparking up underneath the 222 car, but that's kept Wade busy. He's into Mark Jr. They're all going to go to the infield, so they're all going to the U-turns.
The 13 car's our lead car at this stage.
It has
Jaden Nickel.
And Sweeting will get that car back out on the track, turns around, and back out he goes. And Mark Nickel Jr. straight into it. Colin Cameron's being chased here by... Oh no, the 13 car goes through. And McNally gets given the big hurry up. And Chris Wildey is using the tank. And I can tell you that is...
Here's McNally on Cameron.
So they've all left the 13.
13 cars, he's half a lap ahead.
Yep. So they actually have to physically stop that car.
Colin Cameron's going again. Oh, who's this down here?
Wade
Sweeting.
He's taken the 6 car in.
Oh,
McNally's
in. He's into it, boots and all.
He is kamikaze into that one. He's going to have a crack at Sweeting here.
Sweeting knows it. He's seen him. He's getting out of there.
McNally's coming in hot. Do not rule out a big dive here.
Nah, too far back. Sweeting's done the right thing. Just slow right up.
So the 13 cars in the race lead at the moment. They both go to the grass. They have. Yep. And Colin Cameron woke him up.
And he just got another one for his
effort.
So the 13 car's just going to carry on. He's the only one left going.
Yep, the 13 car is they've got to get him. They've got to stop him. McNally might still be able to go. So it's the
McNally's going again.
They have forgotten about Jaden Nickel. He is limping around. He's got a pace too.
He needs to slow down and just be near.
McNally's going to lose a tyre shortly based on.
McNally just wants to go and put a big shot on something.
Colin Cameron second on the track. So he needs just to keep his nose clean and let the boys do. Third one. There's 151. He waited. And Mark Jr. is going to pull back out. McNally's just half in the smoke. So the 13 car is the race leader at the moment. I actually think the Crushers have forgotten who the race leader is.
I think they have too.
And McNally is hooked into bumpers, so Colin Cameron's got a clear run.
Oh no, that's Hadley sitting down here in turn 1.
Mark Jr.'s got pace. Now Hadley has to get the 13 car. There isn't an option here for him. So the 6, 8, and the 13 car is slow. So the race leader is the 13 car. He's going to come in on the 6, 8, 7 and give him a wallop. This is where it gets interesting. Colin Cameron is a lap down on the 13 car. The 6 car is in hot pursuit. And he is, one of these cars is going to meet the other one soon. Jaden is actually going to let Colin Cameron unwind himself. And he's going to have a crack.
These boys love it.
The 13. So
Colin's up the wall.
Jaden Nickel.
They've put Colin up the wall. They'll just hold him there.
I think this is going to be a Barbar's win by the way we're going at the moment here.
Sweeting's now on the 13.
And Sweeting is a smart driver, so the battle is here between the 13 and the 151. Smear his bumper, and all you do is burn your clutch. So Sweeting knows it.
McNally still, he's just into it. The 13 gets past the 151.
151 who does have pace, but the 13 car is going to go out. McNally's actually third on the track, so let's not rule that out. And he gets back out here.
White flag for the 13.
Oh, he got the front end of him. But
can he get it going again?
But
yep, he's away. He's fired up.
He is 3 laps ahead of everybody, though.
Get going.
He's just got to limp it home. It's going to be a Barbarians by the looks of this.
They still don't realise it.
They've lost the
Sweeting's going to slow down, is he?
Yeah.
13 just needs to slow up and not show a great deal of speed. Who are they?
So, McNally. No, Sweeting's pulled in.
Sweeting's pulled in, so the 13.
13's got a charmed run. It will be Jaden
Nickel for the Barbarians as he comes across and takes out the team's champs. He's happy as Larry.
Wow.
There you go.
Go back to what we said earlier. You don't win them, one lose it. They forgot who the race leader was. But don't take anything away from Nickel. He kept his head down. He just snuck around. He didn't do anything silly. And Jaden Nickel will take away the win. I'd say the happiest man out of all this is going to be McNally.
McNally. Oh, yeah, look, he's into it.
It's
a team that was thrown together. These young fellas, these young Jaden Nickel, Mark Nickel Jr., they've only started racing stock cars 3 or 4 meetings ago.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
So there we go, race fans. What a race. The Barbarians taking it away. You can't take it away from them, man. They did exactly what they needed to do, and they brought it home, of course, under the tutelage tonight of Nick Self.
Nick Self, yeah. He's raced for the Glen Eagles and raced Super Stocks.
And but as we watch the replays, some of the hits were feisty as all, as we watch the replay there of McNally being taken in by the pit gate, but they let him go.
Yep.
And Wildly goes another crack. Something's happened in that 53 tank over the far side. Cameron's hanging off the wall over there.
Yep.
What a night, and not to be a stock car pit crew.
Because there's some gear to pick up there. So, yeah.
So that is us.
That's us for tonight, yeah.
So we're back. When are we back, Ivan?
Next Saturday night.
Oh, we are.
South Island Super Stock Champs. 24, I think. 22, 24 cars.
Not all of them are from the South Island, I hear.
They don't have to be.
No, they don't.
North Islanders can enter South Island Champs and South Islanders can enter North Island.
So we'll be back next week. I'm looking forward to it. Of course, modifieds as well, and a teams derby, although to be fair, last year I think the team that won it was actually the Nickel family. So we'll see what comes out of that for us, and we look forward to having you back here at Koken Tools and Woodford Speedway.